Hey, it's the Giant Bombcast for March the 31st, 2020. We have officially made it to the end of the longest month in history. How's everybody doing?
Oh, God.
Good.
Yeah?
Hello.
Hi.
It's me.
It's about to be
I'm
April.
Jeff Kurtzman, and I want to go back to bed
Okay.
forever.
All right, well.
It's like behind you though. Just lay down.
No, that's a separate setup for a baby. That's a
You could still use
area
that.
set up to feed a baby and hang out and all this other stuff. That is not a sleeping zone. It's not an effective sleep zone.
Any
sleeping in the baby zone.
Anywhere can be an effective sleeping zone if you want it bad enough.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
How
Okay.
committed
All right, I'll see
are
you guys
you
later.
to this?
I mean, does the baby sleep there?
No.
Sometimes? No.
See?
Baby
No.
plays there?
Claim it, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the baby sleeps in exactly 3 places. 1, in the stroller while out on a walk. 2, while laying on a breastfeeding pillow in my wife's lap. 3, in the crib. No naps will be taken anywhere else,
Okay.
any other time. No, how about this? No naps will ever be taken ever. She will stay awake the entire time and run everybody else into the ground.
Sounds like you got
Checks
plenty of
out.
room to sleep back there then.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
Big puke day today.
Whoa.
Oh, good.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah.
Also, how's the baby
Balancing the
doing? Also,
humors.
Baby is doing great. Like I've just been. It's just what I'm into now.
just spewing.
Yeah, it's like when we're locked up like this, it's a time to take on new hobbies, and
Yeah.
I thought it'd be fun to just get into throwing up. I don't know.
Boy.
Just, yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking of exciting, I've got my hotkey. It's a little personal announcement here. I got my hotkey situation worked out since last week.
Hotkeys?
Great.
It's important to not set
Sure, my house loved that.
up the same hotkeys in OBS that you also use in other applications that you might use at the same time as OBS. So, hopefully,
What if you just never use any hotkeys ever, and then it's never a problem?
then you got to click buttons and move a mouse around and stuff.
Jeff, your
Yeah, I can't
APM.
be bothered.
Come on.
No,
Think
man.
about your APM for like 30 seconds. Do us all a favor.
It's not
Brad,
enough.
I'm with you on the hotkey stuff. I got one of those Stream Decks now, and I've set up 4 buttons
What you got?
for all my scenes, and that's all that I'm like willing to. Like, I don't want it to automatically stream ever, because I know that my son will come up here and will hit buttons on this thing, and all of a sudden it'll just be him streaming to Giant Bomb.
I mean, those buttons are so big and glowing and appealing. It's like
I know I want to set something there, but I don't trust.
big button with
Just put some scary
baby.
pictures on the buttons.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
got,
oh,
got
yeah.
a big button with Chun-Li's
No,
face
that
on
won't
it there.
work. He loves scary
Somebody's
things.
gonna want to push it.
I love spooky things.
All
I
right.
want like a full-on Yu-Gi-Oh arm, like button, hotkeys, suit. Jan, you know what I'm talking about.
I need it.
I bet it would be really. It'd be really doable to get a power glove into a USB adapter and then have that control that sort of
man.
stuff. You could totally do that.
Do you have a power glove?
I do not have a power glove.
do you-
What? Jeff,
I might have a power glove somewhere.
if
I don't
anyone
know.
here is going to have a power glove, you need to be the one with the power glove.
No, yeah, and I'm not taking that. I don't think anyone should have a power glove. Like at the end of the day, like the real response is like just don't fucking don't get a power glove. Don't get a U Force. Fuck all that shit.
Just get Peter Brown on the phone. I bet he's got like 8 power gloves.
Yeah. He traded all his power gloves for PVMs,
Right.
PlayStation jackets.
Yeah. I may have just made a tactical error. I was trying to change the layout of this thing, and I may have just... Never mind. Let's just keep going. See what happens.
Okay. All right.
Shouldn't have said anything.
We'll
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, no. Hopefully. Yeah, let's just leave it as is for now. Video games. There's a bunch of them.
Video games.
It's like we took a tally before this. I think there's like 8 different games we're playing.
There are 8 games. That's right.
Or something?
The 8 games.
It's
Cubert,
okay.
pole position,
Uh-huh.
Donkey Kong,
Yes.
Donkey
Colin.
Kong.
Fueled.
Frogger?
No.
Snake.
Not
yeah,
Frogger?
Frogger.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Kaboom,
Centipede?
Columns.
Columns, and Pitfall. That's
Okay.
7 of the 8 games. The 8th game, I can't say it out loud.
Okay, that's under...
I just think columns main loops are not rewarding. I think you're putting in too much work for not enough fun.
Totally, yeah. When they added crafting to columns, they actually broke it.
It's like you need 3 red gems just to make a pink gem. It's
Totally, yeah.
completely
I thought
ridiculous.
I was going to play columns every day for months and months. Turns out I was not.
Yeah, indeed. God, I don't even know where to start. I think we're all playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Jeff's gotten more into Half-Life. I've been playing more Doom. Resident Evil 3 is coming out this week. What do you want to?
Okay. Now I'm mad about Animal Crossing.
All right,
now.
that's what I want to
Okay.
talk about. So let's talk about it.
Speak your truth.
I got to the point in the game where I finally got to build, where I upgraded the shop after getting 30 iron nuggets and 30 woods and 30 other woods. And I was like, okay, great. I'm glad to be on the other side of this hump. And then it's like, all right, now you can build a bridge, and we need to get more people moved in. So you need to build 3 houses.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. I'll go pick out where the houses should go. That's cool. It's great to be able to pick where the houses go, because sometimes they go places that you don't want houses. So that's a great thing for them to let me do. And then I plopped it down, and it was like, okay, now you need to craft a bunch of shit for these houses.
You need
I was
to
like,
furnish these houses.
Are you fucking crazy?
It
Are
is
you
crazy.
fucking crazy? Like, you have to go make 6 things for each house.
Are we talking
And-
DIY, like furniture stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have to go, so you have to go collect all the materials to make a peach chair and an iron this and a water
Wait,
pump.
it's,
You know,
it's
there's like different
specific
stuff for each
specific
house.
items.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
These
It's
animals
signed
have
in-
needs,
it's signed
Jeff.
into their claws. Like
Yeah,
Tom
and-
Nook
and
just,
then-
like promised them the world, and
Like, it's
leaves it
bad
to
enough, you know, like,
to make
all
it-
the
make it
fucking
happen.
all the shit people talk about Animal Crossing about, like, oh, Tom Nook this, that, like, okay, fine. But now I'm like Tom Nook's unpaid fucking intern
Yep.
walking around doing shit, like, straight up, man. So I did it, like, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll spend like several hours collecting all these fucking mats to fucking grind this shit out, because I want all these villagers tomorrow. And I don't have to like stretch this out over multiple days. Like, I want to get more people moved in and get going. And I got to the other end of it, and I was like, whew. All right, fuck this. I'm done. And I did not play yesterday. Yesterday was the day they moved in, and I was like, you know what? I'm good.
You're not gonna get
I don't want.
not gonna get
like,
your
bonus
check
miles.
in
Nook
when I
stop.
check in, but like, fuck it. I just. That was where that's where it went over the line for me. That's where the game broke me. Like, the crafting was already a thing that was like, all right, well, they had to do something. They had to change things up. I get it. Like, I don't necessarily think this is like a great move on their part, but it's a fine idea. Like crafting video games are very popular. Like, you see where they would go, why they would do this sort of stuff. It's not so bad. Oh, the stuff breaks. Oh, that's shitty, but like, whatever. I'm sure I'll eventually get to a point where that stuff just lasts longer and longer and longer as I grind up some invisible tech tree somewhere. But getting to the point where it was like, now you have to make a bunch of arbitrary shit for these houses. That was the point where I was just like, this is busy work now. This is I'm not having like a relaxing island time.
Yep.
I'm doing fucking asshole shit
Man,
for
you-
Tom Nook.
you know what
and-
Tom
and
Nook
I
is
don't wanna
about.
do. Yeah,
You know what you
and
signed up
I'm
for.
I don't think I'm about it anymore. And that's
Yeah.
it's a fucking bummer, man.
Man.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You know, this is my first time coming to Animal Crossing, but isn't that the game? Isn't what you're
Well-
describing just Animal Crossing?
It has been less guided in the past, so it was more about what you want to do, and you were not building items. So in some ways that's like, oh well, I can build what I want and get but instead it's like this very gated, like, now you have the recipes for this tier of equipment and these sorts of items, and later on you'll probably get better recipes and
Yeah,
and all this
that's
other
where
stuff.
I'm at now. We've like just we got to the point where we upgraded the shop a second time, and it
Yeah.
has the like second tier of recipes and stuff. And now that we've done that, there's been no more of that busy work. It's basically like you just do stuff. I kind of didn't mind it so much early on as like it forced me to use crafting. I never built. I was getting all these DIY recipes, but I wasn't using any of them, and this kind of forced me to poke my head and be like, oh, I actually have a ton of materials and I can make this stuff. Let me make some stuff for my house too.
Yeah, so like I've been making stuff all along, and so when it came time for it was like, okay, now you need to furnish 3 homes. That's 6 items per home. It was like, all right, well, every single one of these I need to, like, okay, I guess I'm going to a Nook Miles island and fucking ravaging it for shit and
It's
doing
so
all this
fun
stuff.
just demolishing these
It
islands.
was like fun once, and then you're like, oh, my shit broke, and do I really want to spend miles on this stuff? I guess miles are not that hard to come by. Like, you know, it just led to me doing a lot of math in my head about like, is it worth it for me to get the gear here, or should I just return with what I got, build it, do it later? Like the Nook Miles islands have all been super underwhelming design wise. Like the first 2 I went to were exactly the same.
Are those randomly
Like
generated?
exactly the same layout.
Those are
which
not.
I don't.
Those are not
I think
player
it's,
islands.
They're prefab, I
Okay.
think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also time dependent on when you decide to cash in your Nook Miles ticket. Like, you could only go to the Tarantula Island at night, I believe.
Do
Yeah.
I don't think I want to go there.
Oh, you do.
I do?
Oh, you
You'll
can
make
make
so much money.
What?
Oh yeah, I made like 180,000 bells last time I went there.
Oh,
I've
man,
never
you could.
been.
And I
you
feel
could
like
cash it
everyone I
in with
know,
a bug guy.
yeah, like everyone I know that's like playing the game, all they talk about now is turnip prices, which obviously is like a big thing in a lot of Animal Crossing games. But I've never been down with turnips, and seeing that dominate discussion about the game a week in, I'm just like, man, maybe this is like different in the wrong ways, but also still too much the same, and maybe I'm like getting close to wrapping up my time with Animal Crossing, which is not how I expected this would go.
Yeah, this is my first that I've actually gotten into, and it's
Yeah.
forcing me to min max in ways that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Like I thought this was going to be, a very chill time on the island. Like
Yeah.
maybe Tom Nook's got his thumb on you, and you're indebted to him, but you can kind of pay off that loan at your leisure or something.
Exactly.
But it's more than that. Yeah, you are furnishing these houses and junk, and you're paying an exorbitant amount for bridges and shit like that. It's pretty nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to min max Animal Crossing. I never have wanted to do that. And also I don't want to waste inventory space on a pole. So it ends up being this thing of like, well, I have to build a bridge. But I have to do like, I don't know. Like I guess like on some level on the 3DS, like all those projects were just bells. So it was like, we want to build a bridge. It's like, okay, put bells into this donation bin and eventually you'll finish it. And so it was like a different type of min-maxing because you're like, okay, now I need to go to a different island and harvest bugs. Or you could do the turnips or whatever. But like if you wanted to power your way through those projects, there were things you could do to make the bells happen faster. But
you can, after you build the first bridge, you can build more with bells.
So wait, so I can't build more bridges because the requirements for the bridge were actually really low.
Yeah, so now it's like you have to pay an exorbitant amount of bells. I mean, I just use the pole.
What the fuck? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like
Wait till I tell you that if you're playing multiple players on the same Switch, the second player can't even contribute resources to those projects.
Wait, you can't even like
can't
drop money into the stuff.
You can literally like I walked up to Timmy with 30 of each wood in my pocket. Got that 30 wood. And tried to give it to him for the shop, and he was like, "Oh no, only the resident ambassador can give me these," or something like that. So
that's terrible.
We had to swap characters, literally just swap characters, throw the wood on the ground, pick it back up, and give it to him with a different character.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like it sucks. Don't get me wrong, it sucks. Like it does lead to some sort of like collaboration and teamwork with your significant other.
Sure.
It's like, we get to play together for 5 minutes while I do this stupid thing that is completely arbitrary, but
So we went the other way, and so I bought a Switch Lite when they came out, specifically knowing that Animal Crossing was going to be coming out. And so we both have our own town. Originally, we were both playing on the same copy of the game. Like my main account was on her Switch, and so she could play Animal Crossing and I could play Animal Crossing, and everything was going great right up until she tried to visit my town. And it popped up and said, "Yo, you can't do that. You only have one copy of the game."
Oh, wow.
Like, good.
Wait, are you guys on the family Switch Online plan?
No, we were doing it local, so it wasn't the online plan.
Oh, wow. You still wow.
Yeah, so if you are like sharing games with like putting your main account on your secondary Switch and that whole thing, it knows. So then I was like, well, I guess I have to get another copy of Animal Crossing. It would not let me buy a copy of Animal Crossing on her account because it would say someone on this Switch already owns this game.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go to the website and do it there. So I did it there. Same error message. So I had to go deactivate my account from that Switch. And I didn't have to delete the game. So this whole thing, I'm like thinking like, I don't want to fucking delete her town.
Right.
So I'm like carefully going through like, okay, what can I do? What are the different ways I can do this? So like I deactivated the account. Or made it so that was not my main account on her Switch, and then it allowed me to spend $60 on the game. Thanks, and then it's fine.
To be clear,
I haven't reactivated my account on that Switch yet.
So like doing that means she lost access to all your other games, right?
Exactly. But I think now that we both technically have access to the game, if I were to reactivate there, hopefully it would all just work. And I think she's in a similar boat where she's like, wait, she played a ton on the 3DS. Like she played a ton of that game. And I think that Like she's hitting these walls of like, no, you got to go make this shit. And I think she's in a similar boat of like, I don't think I like this. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah, this game's it's a fucking bummer, man.
I'm having a really good time with it. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I've never been much for like this kind of. I never got into Stardew or any sort of like farming games and stuff like that.
Sure.
I'm getting into it in a way that I didn't expect to with like my villagers too, getting to know them. I didn't know anything about like having villagers in your town, but like having to learn what they're like, what they like, getting them gifts. Like I just figured out that you can like, I built a kettlebell for what was his name? Genji, I think, is the buff rabbit.
Wait, does everybody?
Buff is kind of Buff is like workout guy is kind of a type. There are multiple workouts.
Does everybody start with a workout guy? Because we have, I think he's Horatio the Anteater is super.
I have a Genji.
I have a Genji.
I got Tank.
Tank.
And then like I just like figuring out, oh, if you give them something they really like, they're gonna give you something back is really cool. I think that the only huge bummer I've run into is anything to do with the online. In classic Nintendo fashion, where even just like, okay, I want to let people into my island. Okay, I have to go talk to the dodo guy and go through 5. I have to be like, hey, do you want to go to online? Are you sure you want to go online? It's really scary out there. Are you sure? Okay, let me connect you to the internet. Wait 30 seconds. Okay, you're online now. And then go through like 6 more dialogue options just to open my gate. Eventually, people start coming into your island. And I realized last night, like, what can you do when people are on your islands? You cannot place things. You cannot, like, redecorate. You can't draw with the design creator. There's just, like, so many things it stops you from doing when you're online, and I thought that was kind of the whole point of the game.
Here's the crazy thing: the things that it restricts you from doing. I want to say the previous game was even worse about it. Like I think you couldn't donate stuff to like in your town.
You still can't donate
stuff to Blathers when people are in your town. Is that
you still cannot?
Yeah, you still can't. You can't move stuff. You can't move stuff around.
Stuff, like, I was trying to go into someone's town a couple days ago. And I couldn't because someone that was in the town had a menu open.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had a thing where I was on somebody's town, somebody else came over, turned off their Switch, and I guess if you turn off your Switch while you're on somebody's island, it's going to kick everyone off the island.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. What it'll do also, in my experience, is if you like turn off your Switch, everything that you like exchanged with each other also just disappears back to the original owner. So I'd given my partner a bunch of like fruit, and then I just like absentmindedly put my Switch to sleep, and then she got an error message that like she's leaving my island or whatever, and then all the oranges and like apples disappeared from her inventory.
Oh,
have you guys tried the local co-op where you're both running around on the same screen at the same time?
Yeah,
No.
I tried that with my son actually. It's super limiting. Like they can't access their inventory.
You can't open your
anything.
inventory. You can like literally that player. Second player can do in that mode. The second player can do nothing but cycle between tools and like whack stuff for resources, and that is it.
Yeah.
It's like.
So wait a minute. If they can't, so if they can't open their inventory, does that mean they have infinite tools? Since they're not going to be able to craft new shit, is that second local co-op player going to have infinite shovel?
That's
because I'll fucking just play as a fake second player.
You just have to build a golden shovel.
The goofiest part is in that mode to switch who's the lead player. You just shake your controller and it switches to the other character instantly, and then they become the lead player, and then they can open their inventory and donate stuff to everything. Like you can just like ping pong back and forth. Like why is it not that way by default? It's a bizarre game. I'm still having a ton of fun.
It's always had a bunch of arbitrary limitations like that. Like that's I think been the low key frustrating thing all along. But I think we're at a point now.
Yeah. So many other games that do this sort of thing have gotten so good at it.
And they're brushing up against those games deliberately by integrating crafting and some of this other stuff. Like they're even pushing further in that direction. So I think the expectations change with time, but also with the type of game that they're trying to make and the amount of like, hey, you need to do this to help contribute to this and craft this and do this. Like stuff just sucks, man. It's like that game. Yeah, I am not having the low-key fun time experience that I see a lot of other people having, and that I definitely have had with every Animal Crossing game prior to this one.
I mean, how do you feel about the Nook Miles stuff? Because like I appreciate having some amount of structure and like kind of a roadmap of goals to work for.
Totally, I think that like that stuff is it makes sense, right? I mean, like, yeah, and it also gives you a place to go if you don't have friends that are online or whatever. It's like, hey, here's another island you can go visit, which they've done in the past, but I think it's like a good way. Like, they've built it better in terms of like you're going to go to kind of a more random place, and it'll be, you might have different resources there depending on what you get. And whereas the island in the last game, I feel like was almost always the same basic concept of just like, these are the types of bugs you're going to get there, these are the types of fish you're going to get there. And so having like, oh, random tarantula island or whatever else, I think that stuff's okay. I think basing stuff on time is also a thing that, like, the time-based aspect of that game has always been really cool. But also, as someone who has like a pretty limited window, when like my Animal Crossing time is probably always going to be, until we're back in an office or whatever, it's likely to be sometime between 5 and 6:30. So that means, because the music is different as the day progresses, I'm going to hear that same music. I'm if I'm always going to be catching evening bugs, I'm always going to be up against the 10 p.m. shutdown of the shop if I end up having to play if I end up playing for a long period of time. Like, there are just aspects of that game that, if you're the sort of person that's only going to have like a similar chunk of time every day to devote to it, there's a lot of stuff that you're missing out on. Yeah. And that's like kind of frustrating. I don't know. But also I really like the real time nature of that stuff. I think it's just a cool idea, and having like holidays and fishing tournaments and all that other stuff. I think that stuff's fun.
Bunny Day starts tomorrow, actually.
Ooh.
Speaking of which, hey, what,
like a egg-shaped dresser or something?
How long does it take for rocks to grow back?
A day. One a day, right?
One a day?
Yeah.
Shit.
So if you break it, it'll respawn somewhere else the next day.
Okay, but it's only one a day. My girlfriend, in her desperation to get the shop finished yesterday, just ran around our island and destroyed every stone. Trying to find iron nuggets, and now I'm kind of screwed.
I did that as soon as I realized you could break the rocks. I was like, well, fuck, I'm break these rocks. And then it was like, because I thought that's how you got iron. Yeah. And then when it said, you need 30 of these, I'm like, there's got to be a different way. I was like, oh, right, I can shovel these. Because you don't have the shovel initially.
Right.
Anyway,
do we just need to go to another island then for metal?
Yeah, if you go to Nook Miles Island, there are rocks there.
Okay.
Usually.
I have not done that yet. Did you guys plan a money
And I imagine
you can hit the rock more than 3 times. You know that, right, Brad?
You have to do it fast, though, right?
Yes.
You want to dig yourself a little nook so you don't push yourself back.
Yeah, she told me about that.
If I didn't know about that, and I had to get the 30 just from like visiting random islands and hitting a rock once, which is what I thought you had to do, I would have been a lot more frustrated with this game early on.
Yeah, I will have to hit another island and do that tonight, I guess. Did you guys plant a money tree yet? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Dump in 10,000 bells, and you'll get 30,000 later.
Whoa. Shit.
I know. It's wild.
Okay.
I think that's the thing. Like, if you're going to be all about like, here are some fun tips to earn money, like at some point you might as well be taking advantage of Discord and Twitter and all this other stuff, and just getting your turnip on, right?
There's levels to it. Like, there's going full on.
I mean, we're not
joining the Discord and trying to maximize profits.
Yeah, we're not exactly changing our system clock here yet.
Right, but I feel like this game feels like it's pushed a little bit further in that direction of like, no, we understand you're meant to do this. You're meant to min-max a little bit. It feels like the game's been designed more in favor of that sort of stuff than maybe it has in the past. I don't know.
Got to go back to that GameCube Animal Crossing. Just pull that. Pull that memory card out of the closet. See how many roaches you got in your town.
That fucking GameCube version of Animal Crossing has a lot of NES games in it. All right, it's still the best Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's right.
You walk up to an NES and push a button, and then you're playing fucking Donkey Kong or whatever inside of Animal Crossing. It's great.
That's a fair point. Let's see. You want to talk about Half-Life? Sounds like you played more Half-Life.
Yeah. I've been dipping into Half-Life a little bit more. Got another hour or 2 in.
Also, it's weird to me to say, hey, let's talk about a Half-Life game. Like it's just a thing that came out.
Yeah. So it's I feel way more confident now saying that that's not a game you should play sitting down.
Okay. That's even where I got to in the first like half hour.
Yeah.
Starting to feel that way.
But that said, that game turns into kind of a survival horror game.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of darkness. Like you meet a Vortigaunt, and he's a pretty fun character. And then you kind of head off into the darkness, and then it's Half-Life shit. It's darkness. It's headcrabs. Deal with it basically. And you have not a ton of ammo, especially you get the shotgun, and it feels like I never had more than like 5 shotgun shells at a time, at least so far. And you get a flashlight that mounts to your offhand, so you're kind of like you're taking one hand out in front of you and shining it around. It automatically turns on when you get to a dark area, and then so you're kind of like both hands out, one with the shotgun or the pistol.
I was just about to ask if you could one hand the shotgun.
Yes, you can.
And
if you like shit flying at your face, this is that game.
I don't know.
If you want headcrabs flying at your face in VR, that's what the game definitely turns into.
I want to
see
obviously
that. You're obviously going to fight
Combine
and stuff later, and that'll be a different type of encounter, I'm sure. But like this whole like chapter 3, like that whole chunk of the game is like. And it's like there's the headcrab, and then what's the one that is like poison, like with the spiky hands, the different type of crawly motherfucker. Anyway, you see some of those too. I found myself, and maybe I'm just missing, but it seems like it's not something you can do. So why I say it's not a good sitting down game is because it's not hard to sidestep the headcrabs. Like they definitely kind of go through a motion of rearing back and launching in your direction, and you are just supposed to like dodge. You're supposed to take a step to the left or a couple steps, but if you can't really take a couple of steps, and then it's like, okay, well, I need to move my analog stick, and that only works because I'm playing in like real motion mode. If I had to like frantically teleport to dodge, like that's just it's a clumsy system.
What about blocking them if you could use your hands to...
So you can't use your hands.
Okay.
There are cases where you can, like if you're holding another object or something like that, you can kind of deflect them. That gets a little hard with the flashlight. If you're like, I need to see and hold this item and do this, there's a little bit of kind of negotiating with that. But like the ability to kind of like block them with an object is actually, that's maybe the coolest interaction the game has had. Of just like, I have this thing and get away. But I keep trying to pistol whip them.
And that doesn't work.
It doesn't seem like that works.
That seems like something you should be able to do.
And I think that's my like the story of this game for me so far is that like there's a lot of stuff that it seems like you should be able to do just from a how does physics work with me and melee and all this other stuff and the choices they made around like the lack of melee and the way kind of throwing objects works and the type of damage that seems to do when you do land it, which is not significant. Like I think that stuff's really, it's just a huge missed opportunity, and it's like it's a thing where he's just like, man, this game would have been should have been so much more. Like you go into it thinking like, well, they returned to Half-Life for a reason. Right. And I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
It's not the next level of VR. It's hey, we made some choices that kind of make it a step back in some ways from some other games. Like, I don't think Boneworks is great, but at least Boneworks is like going for it. It's making everybody sick, and they're kind of being assholes about the way they view VR.
So it's a perfect VR game.
Yeah.
Did you see this? Did you see these quotes going around from this Kotaku interview that they did?
I did not.
I'm going to jump ahead to an email from Frederick from Göteborg in Sweden real quick. Last Bombcast, Jeff lamented the fact that you can't use a pipe to break wooden boards in Half-Life Alyx like you could with a crowbar in previous iterations. So Kotaku ran this story why you can't use a crowbar in Half-Life Alyx.
But they didn't want people to flail, right? Like
well, that's part of it, but there's another quote here from Robin Walker. It says, we lost... excuse me, goodness. We lost like a year and a half of our lives trying to get a crowbar in VR. He explains, among other things, that the lack of force feedback meant that players in testing would carry the crowbar on their side, off screen, and hooking it on objects they couldn't see without feeling it.
So
just a lot of sounds like a lot of like if you're holding an object in VR and interacting with fake physical objects, but not getting any real physical pushback or friction or stuff like that.
They should have just built a crowbar accessory you could hold with force feedback.
And then a bunch of
I don't know, a pipe.
And then a bunch of
well, that's the thing is, so they didn't put a crowbar in it, but they did put a pipe in it.
Oh,
and the pipe doesn't get hooked on stuff, but you still can't hit things with it. It's
I have a question, Jeff. You mentioned last week you can't switch your gun to your other hand. Can you like not hold a gun and just use both hands to hold on to stuff or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
there are akimbo with two hands.
There are
you can put the gun away. Yeah.
There are heavy objects that you have to use two hands to lift properly.
I see. Okay. But still, you can't wail on someone with whatever heavy object you're able to lift.
It didn't seem like it. No, I was able to throw a barrel at a zombie guy and he staggered, but it didn't seem, when I think about like how those interactions look and feel when those barrels are flying at me because the zombie's kicking it or throwing it at me or doing whatever, like that's a high speed. It's way higher speed than I'm able to throw back, it seems. Right. And it feels fucked up. You're like, man, he kicked this barrel into me. It really fucked me up. And sure enough, like you look at your health and you're like, damn. But when I'm throwing it back, he just kind of goes, ugh. And granted, it's a zombie, but it doesn't feel like a way to do like a relevant amount of damage to enemies as a result. So
you can use a shield to like if you hold up a shield to block a headcrab, like you won't take damage.
Yeah, you can kind of knock it away, whether it's like a chair, like the trailer they put out right before release was like catching it on a chair and kind of flinging it out a window and stuff like that. So
you found a trash can lid you can just carry around like a shield.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there's hints of that, right? So it's like there are parts of it where you go like, man, that's actually like brilliant that they got these objects to interact properly. There's just not like there's too many things where you go like, I've got these objects that would work in this very specific way in real life, but also make sense in the Half-Life universe of just like, I'm clubbing a thing to death because it's fucking Half-Life. And like it not having that stuff, I think that, the reasons they've given in interviews and stuff, I think makes sense, but it ends up feeling like, I feel like without that stuff, they kind of did a bad job at capturing the essence of, or some of the essence of Half-Life.
Sure.
And the physics still look jittery and fun. You think about Half-Life 2 and what it did for physics at the time. Like there sure were a lot of jittery. I spent a lot of years playing Gary's mod with like weird shit clipping into each other and vibrating all over the place and all this other stuff. And it's still that. Like it's still objects in this game, vibrating in a way that when I walk up to them, I take damage because it's, because physics are broken or, like stuff clipping through the world because it vibrated through it. And so it's still just fucked up enough to where it just, I don't know, maybe my expectations are out of whack, but when I think about the lab and I think about Valve and the number of years they spent doing this stuff, I went into it expecting like, well, if they're going to put out something that says the words Half-Life on it, like then clearly they've figured a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, like this is going to be
that interview they just gave where they was like, the reason we didn't make another Half-Life is because we didn't think that we had a big enough advancement.
And as I get deeper into it, and I'm going to keep going through it, and because I want to see what it's like to fight the Combine, like what it's like to have a real firefight. And unfortunately, I'm going to be like sitting down, which seems like again they have built it so that it supports it, obviously, but it's not the way you want to play this game. But even taking that into account, I feel like there's just a level of interaction in this game that's missing that I am shocked that it's missing, because that seems like something that like, okay, well, Valve gets it. They've spent a lot of years. They've invested years and tons of money into VR. They're at the forefront of this stuff. Clearly, they've got some new shit. Let's see it. And you're like, oh, their new shit was they took a step back in a lot of areas to make these interactions not work the way you think they should. Like, it's bizarre, man. It's just bizarre.
I appreciate that stuff apparently was a conscious choice, even if the end result is not something that is fully satisfying. Like, at least they knew that,
Yeah, like it makes me think like, and you start jumping to the end game on this stuff, if those are the conclusions that they're, if you make all the assumptions that I made about like, well, it's Valve, they've invested a lot of years and time into Half-Life and a lot of years and time into VR in general and trying to figure out what VR can do and can't do. If these are the choices they're making, does that mean VR is kind of inherently not what it should be?
Right.
Or is VR as a concept, is this phase of VR just not ever going to be not ever going to live up to that potential?
Do you need to go visit like a professional VR center with a 20 by 20
exactly.
padded room to get the full extent? Yeah.
Yeah, or like someone's out there selling things that bolt to your shoes.
Right.
And you sit in a chair with a VR headset dangled from your ceiling, and so you can kind of spin in the chair and move your feet to try to move, like doing locomotion that way. And you know, like that's you like VR is already like space prohibitive for a lot of people. Like I had a 3-bedroom house, and I'm still just like, fuck, I can't do this anywhere because of just like the choices I've made. If we didn't have this baby, I could have a VR room. Oh well, you know, like shit like that. But like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And even when you make that space, there's still those limitations. So I think VR is really cool. I think there's been a lot of really cool experiences to be had in VR, but this makes me feel like we're bumping up against some limitations that are just maybe not going to be solved, because I would have expected Valve to solve this sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm enjoying the game more than I was last week. I think that they've put some cool stuff in there, and the flashlight gun stuff is pretty neat, but it is like it kind of does make it a weird survival horror game in some ways.
Yeah, I really want to play through it as soon as they stop patching in like basic features, because it seemed like last week they were definitely pushing out some updates. It was just like, hey, we've added turning options. It's like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
maybe I'll give it another week or two. How do they handle like very intentionally limited gun ammo in a game where you can't really turn to melee as a fallback if you run out of ammo? Like, what happens there? Do you load a checkpoint?
There's a lot of ammo for the
okay,
pistol.
Okay.
So it's really like, if there's a fight happening, odds are you're going to find some ammo right before it.
Okay, so it's not Resident Evil, like you only have 6 bullets at a time,
like the pistol, with the pistol, I'll have like 60 shots at a time. Also, like most of the encounters so far have been like 2 headcrabs.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you're respecting the headcrabs enough to know, like, okay, I need to put 3 bullets in each one of these things, then you're like, okay, I'm going to back off and very carefully take these shots and not miss. It's really the shotgun that has been super limited on ammo.
Okay.
The pistol has been less so, but it is still an aspect of just like, okay, well, I fucked up and dumped a full mag in the direction of this zombie and missed with too many shots. And now so it's just like I'm holding down on the right stick to back away as I'm going through the reloading process. And okay, let's go at it again. And hiding around corners to, just prevent enemies from being a factor. So it's really like you kind of just disengage from things long enough to reload and reset, and then walk back around the corner or whatever and put some more shots into stuff. And that game needs some kind of color blindness stuff. Sounds like it. The red dot sight on the pistol is actually pretty good most of the time, but depending on what you're aiming at, there've definitely been cases where I just like lose the sight, like lose the dot in things. And then the puzzle solving stuff that I encountered that we talked about last week is a bummer. I don't know how you do that though, other than finding objects, like saying like, oh, these are the relevant objects in the world that we think might be red, and here's an option that makes them bright glowing pink or something, or some kind of neon standout thing or something. I don't know. They already put a bunch of highlights and weird glow stuff on objects that you can like pull towards you and stuff like that. So I don't think that would be like too immersion breaking to make that kind of change. But
who's still playing Doom? Ben.
I'm playing Doom.
Ben's raising his hand.
Talked me out of it.
No? Wow. Shit.
Kind of.
I haven't checked it out yet.
I
don't know if I want to.
I'm roughly halfway. I think if I beat the level I'm on, I'll be about halfway done.
I saw you were in the Ark complex yesterday. Is that
I'm
right?
rescuing a certain someone.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I'm pretty hot and cold on aspects of that game. I still enjoy the core combat when it is in a really like ideal setting, which is to say I'm not like dashing backwards into a corner and then getting boxed in by 3 enemies or something like that.
Or there's that purple goop on the ground that stops you from jumping or dashing.
Yeah, the part you're at right now, there's like way too much of that purple goop, and then I haven't seen it since then. But I don't know, like I just fundamentally I would echo a lot of the stuff we said last week about like got a lot of interesting systems that just aren't always quite clicking together. But I really want to talk about some of the story stuff that they have done in this thing, and none of you guys are there yet. And I don't.
I'm fine to talk about it. I
might not play any more of it.
I have not played it in the last week, and I had multiple opportunities where I was like, oh, I could play some Doom. And I was like, I'm actually going to get 45 minutes of Animal Crossing in instead or something like that. But now that I'm maybe done with Animal Crossing, I might come back to Doom. I don't know.
I would certainly be curious to hear what you have to say about some of the stuff. Like, without giving too much away, I would say if you look at the nature of the codex in this game and how, like, sort of dense and very unsubtle it is and very, like, just straightforward and, like, the ancient society of the Sentinels and the Argent Denure and the forces of hell and the story gets real deep into that stuff and starts tying it in with the previous games in ways that kind of like sort of remove a lot of the mystery about Doom 2016.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like it goes out of its way to explain stuff that I really didn't need or even want explained from the first game.
Yeah, that doesn't sound appealing.
Like, if you wanted to know why you wake up in that sarcophagus at the beginning of 2016 Doom, you're gonna get your answer.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
It's. I think for me, it's just like there's a tone to the writing, but also like it just comes across as check out how fucking metal this is, dude.
Yeah.
Hell,
and I like it when I like that stuff when it's subtle. It's like, oh, your home base is a fucking medieval castle orbiting the Earth, like that.
It's a cool touch.
Stuff like that is
idea,
fine.
Yeah.
Yes, but when it gets real deep into lore and like backstory about, the noble warrior races doing battle with the forces of hell and like explaining why they call him the Doomslayer and like.
Yeah, I think when I got to that cutscene where you are going, it's very early on. I don't even remember the name of the dude, but you're like recharging, or you've got some big glowing item and you bring it to him, and basically like the number of people that are just like, you're upsetting some kind of balance here.
Right.
They're not your people to save, like that sort of stuff. Like I just felt like that stuff was too fucking Valhalla, fucking metal album cover, whatever stuff that was just like, it's just fucking, it's corny. Like it's not like funny corny.
Yeah.
It's just,
right. It's not like Metalocalypse, which is kind of hits that funny corniness.
Yeah, which I think that probably wouldn't be a great tone for this either.
I'm not saying it should be that, but there's ways to do that, like metal style, like all out Slayer shit with a little bit of wink and nod to it.
Yeah, it's like a really tough line to walk where it needs to act like it's taking it seriously while it knows itself that it's not.
Yeah, and that's partially why 2016 was so.
Totally. It's like because you do wake up in this fucking sarcophagus surrounded by pentagrams and candles, and you're just like, what the fuck? But like, but I didn't need to know why. Like instead of looping back around and explaining a bunch of the weird stuff from the first game, I wish they had just layered more weird stuff on.
Or if you're gonna explain that stuff, the explanations need to be damn fucking good.
Right.
Sure.
And in this case, they're literally like flashback cutscenes, like explaining what happened to the Doom guy before this game, before 2016. Like I don't know that I needed that level of overt, like unsubtle explanation of everything.
Right. I think there's. You just again, if you're gonna do that stuff, it needs to be done well. I think there's just like tonal stuff where like, I'm in some weird demon overrun hell complex, and then I think the way they use the like computer voice corporate speak mixed with that is the balance feels off on that stuff. Sure. Like I think the way they used it in the previous game, I think worked out really well. But I think when you have them just going like, oh yes, the mortally challenged and all this other stuff, it just, it's too much of it. It's not creative enough, to pull it off. I think is my big problem with the game. I think like gameplay wise, when that game is all like firing on all cylinders in a combat encounter, I think it's a better game than the previous one. I think that stuff is really cool, and the enemy systems of weak points and all that stuff I think is really fun. I think there's just
disagree on that.
I'm a little bit.
I have to specifically shout out how. So I mentioned a gripe of mine last week was how this feels way less fun to play on a controller than 2016 did. I hit peak that having to deal with the pinkies, the ones that charge at you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where you have to jump over them and then pull a 180 and shoot their tail off.
Totally.
It's so frustrating to do on a controller. I imagine on mouse and keyboard it's pretty effortless.
Yeah, I mean, I did not play the previous game. I mean, you know, like obviously they sent you console first, so that's where you started, and it is what it is. Like Doom is the and the previous game and this game, like these are the last games, these are the last shooters on the planet that I'm like, no, I'm using a mouse.
Yes. Like I agree. Yeah, that said, you could get by in 2016 just fine without that, but this game's focused specifically on weak points and hitting like very tight, precise shots to control the flow of combat.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That pushes it over the edge into territory where it's like, I would have started over on PC by now if I had time to do that.
Do they try to mitigate it with auto aim? I mean, that's that's how Call of Duty gets away with all this stuff. Is like you aim down sights and it snaps to a target.
Yeah, not really. I went in and adjusted I forget what they refer to, like it's kind of the dead zone, like mouse acceleration type setting for the analog look. I turned that down and like adjusted the sensitivity a little bit and kind of got it feeling like I want, more or less.
I should tinker with that a little bit then.
I'm totally with you. Like some of the fights I'm having to do right now, like I just did the gladiator boss fight for people who have played that thing, like made me want to turn that game off and not come back to it for a while because the margins for error on that thing are so fucking razor thin.
Yeah, but yeah, like playing that game on a mouse and keyboard, I think it's when it gets going, it is that kind of it gets closer to that kind of pulse pounding feeling of the previous game, which I think, I had more fun with that. I mean, also like honestly, Doom 2016 was a surprise. Like that game was in development for a long time. For a long time, people were like, "It looks like Call of Duty. This looks like fucking dog shit." Like the expectations for that game were.
I was not excited.
Like that E3 presentation, people were just like, "What? It has a bunch of execution moves. Like this isn't Doom." Like
right, yeah, and so people were going into that game, hopeful, but like a lot of what they had shown up until like the last couple of things they showed. I think there was a vibe of just like, all right, good luck with this, Doom 4, whatever the fuck you're calling it now. And so this game kind of being built on the back of one of the best shooter campaigns, like it's inherently got, a different hill to climb. Totally. So I think that's why, you're seeing people receive this so differently than that past game. But yeah, I don't know. I think that there's some really cool combat stuff to do. I think the weak point stuff is fine with mouse and keyboard. But also like it's not easy. It's not hard to imagine why that would be absolute shit on a controller.
Yeah, it's tougher on a controller, but also just more in design terms. Like I don't know that I love always being railroaded into like as soon as one of those guys shows up, I have to switch to the right weapon. And granted, there are 2 or 3 weapons that will work, but like you need to use the one that you're most comfortable with. But like you have to take care of that immediately. It's like I have to shoot the arm cannons off this Mancubus as soon as it gets in the fight.
But I think that's the other thing is with a mouse and keyboard. Like generally, I feel like I'm just more nimble overall. So yes, like I tend to do that, but I never really feel like I'm fully railroaded into that path. It's more like okay, prioritize. Like that every moment in that game is about priority and what you're prioritizing at any given time, because it's like, okay, I need to get a cluster of enemies all together so I can get all my armor back right fucking now, and I need to do that right fucking now.
Yeah.
Or hey, I need to make sure I'm getting a glory kill here to get this, and so it's always that game of competing priorities, and the weak points on the enemies I think are just one more of those things to add to that list. And so there definitely been situations where like, okay, I'm I need to get these weak points, but I also am surrounded by enemies right now. I'll get to it in a second here. I need to do this, and this, and then jump over here and take care of this weak point, and then bounce over here and do this. And so I think there's a mobility, and also a lot of those combat arenas, not all of them, but you notice like a lot of them have teleporters on them that just warp you to the opposite side of the arena.
Yeah.
Like there's very much just keep moving in this direction, warp to the other side, just keep going and flowing your way through it so that you're always kind of plowing your way through the row of demons, teleporting back and making another run at them. And so like that aspect of that flow, I think can be really cool, but also they do it a few too many times where it feels like, oh, this has gone beyond that. And now it feels like this is the way you want people to play the game. This is like the right way to play. And sometimes that kind of takes some of the spontaneity out of it, I guess. Sure. But yeah, with the mouse and keyboard, I think a lot of those issues they don't go away completely, but I think they get mitigated differently, especially, you're trying to play on a higher difficulty setting and stuff like that too, which I think that plus the controller, like, it's not to say it's impossible. Obviously you're not like completely stuck, but I totally get, like, this game seems like it would be a different and worse experience on a controller.
Yeah,
like
I'm with you.
I wouldn't want to do it.
I think it is starting to bother me in a way that it did not with 2016, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Last thing I will say about that thing is that I thought I had planned to try to be done with it by now, and ran into an issue yesterday. So the Slayer gates, you do the 6 Slayer gates, and it's leading up to like unlocking an ultimate weapon in that game. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been doing all those.
And I've done the ones I've seen so far. But isn't that ultimate weapon the thing from Doom 64?
I don't know. Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's the exclusive gun from fucking Doom 64. Like the amount of play that Doom 64 gets in this, like philosophically feels just fucking gross.
I love that. As somebody whose first Doom game was Doom 64, I really appreciate it.
To be fair, I streamed some of that port of Doom 64 a week or two ago, and it's like not terrible. Like it's
I played some of it. I was like, okay, yeah, like with a mouse and keyboard, that's a dramatically different game. Like you talking about controller being a problem here. Imagine you used a fucking N64 controller to play anything ever.
Now that extra fucking sucks for me to hear. Like that extra sucks for me to hear because my situation is I had passed up a couple of the Slayer gates just in the interest of time, like trying to get through a couple extra missions for like the quick look and stuff. And because they unlock fast travel every time you finish a mission, like very visibly. They're like, fast travel's now unlocked. You can, I don't know if you guys have used it, but you can.
I've not used it yet. Yeah, I haven't had to.
There are like every level has probably got like at least like 10 different fast travel points. Like it's very easy to pop back anywhere on the map that you've missed something and just get it. So I was like, I'll just come back to these Slayer gates toward the end of the game when it's like time to get that weapon. And I'm at the end of the game now, so I was like, I better go get those Slayer gates and get that ultimate weapon because what's the point of getting it after I finish the game? As soon as you leave one of those levels, they turn off the fast travel. When you come back, it's like you have never been there. Like they don't leave fast travel enabled when you revisit the map, so you have to play through the entire mission up to that Slayer gate again to get those popped off. So I spent 2 hours yesterday replaying stuff to get to Slayer gates to finish them that I had missed the first time.
Man, that's
because I want to get that weapon before I beat the game.
I was doing the exact same thing. I passed the Slayer gates because I'm like, I'm just going to mainline it and then I'm going to go back for a bunch of this other stuff.
That's what I thought too. Because I
assumed
the fast travel would just stay unlocked when you revisited the levels, but it super does not.
So instead, it's like you can pass by it right now, but hey, before you get to what looks like the last spot on this map, you had better go mop it up.
Yeah, you need to get that stuff before you leave that level if you don't want to play through the whole level.
That's a choice.
Yeah. So I did not, in fact, finish the game last night like I had intended.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I should point out, I played some of this game on the Google Stadia service.
Okay.
Remember how Quake World felt on a modem, where sometimes you would be playing it and it would like roll back somehow like a second and a half, and you would be looking at a wall? It does that.
Huh. Okay.
Which no other Stadia game I feel like has done that. So I don't know if they custom built some kind of different type of netcode to make this run. And unlike obviously Google sends out codes for Stadia games, all those, and usually it's just like, here's the game, go. With this one, they were like, hey, if you're having any issues, let us know, and we'll see if we can help. And made me think like, oh, I wonder what's different about this. And then within 5 minutes of playing it, I was like, oh, I'm like warping all over the place whenever. Like, so I don't know like what they're doing differently from like every other Stadia game or other stuff like that, but it was an interesting throwback vibe.
Could you imagine how big Stadia would be right now if it was good? Like this is like prime condition right now for Google Stadia to excel, but
have you played regular Doom 2016 on Stadia? That came out too, right?
I don't believe it.
It didn't come out before Eternal?
I don't think so.
Wow. Huh. That's
Jeff, I'd have to double check, but
did you try using the guide button to pull up a YouTube video of how to help with your problem?
No, I'm playing in a browser with an Xbox controller. Like
Okay.
My Stadia controller is over there, dead battery and all. I'm not. I don't know, and I don't know where the special Chromecast is that has the right firmware on it. It's probably here somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, no, I
gotta start labeling your Chromecasts.
Yeah, I've always said, man, I really got to get around to labeling those Chromecasts.
His and hers.
Yeah. I think I only have the one. I don't know. I should look.
All right, that's a good number of games. We got a couple more to talk about, actually, before we move on to the news. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and cover all that stuff. We're back. Jason's all smiles as we get into old Call of Duty.
Finally.
Yeah.
They made a sequel to Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Okay,
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Hey, can you shoot down the UAVs yet?
No. No.
No?
It's the campaign.
Oh, right. So yeah, I had this in news right up until we got together to start recording this, and you were like, oh, it came out. Because they didn't announce this. Like, it's like a weird situation. So I guess they were planning to just like stealth release it today. But then, so I think it was German PlayStation Store accidentally listed it briefly.
And like this thing got rated for like release a year ago or something.
Okay. So maybe it's not a total surprise. But the weird part to me is that I found like 24 hours ago, I found a full playthrough of No Russian from this remaster on YouTube just sitting there.
Yeah, like the full campaign eventually, like by this morning, there was video of the entire campaign.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
There.
I don't know how the game got out, but hey, there's a Modern Warfare 2 remastered out for $20 now.
Yeah, it's $20. It's got HDR.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, it's got trophies. Something about this, I don't know why I thought this in retrospect, but I think because like when you buy it, you get stuff for Warzone. You get skins and shit like that, or for just Call of Duty multiplayer or whatever in the current Call of Duty. And so I think in my head I thought that this was going to be a bolt-on add-on to this, just the same way Warzone was. But it is a separate purchase. It's a separate icon. It's only out on PS4 right now. It's exclusive to PS4 for probably a month, I'm sure. But they're doing pre-orders on other platforms, and you get the current Call of Duty stuff today if you pre-order it on other platforms or whatever. So so it's not entirely different from it is because it doesn't have the multiplayer, but they did Modern Warfare 1 remastered not that long ago.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I played through that whole thing. It was a pretty nice remaster job.
This is that, it's got HDR. Bionox did it. Like it looks all right. It's not gonna knock your socks off. You're not gonna look at it and go like, this looks like it just came out yesterday. In fact, they've got like a little thing in there where a game would put it's like, hey, all this stuff is fictional. It has a thing like they've gone a little bit further and said this game was made in 2008. Also,
wow.
Also, it's fictional.
Wow.
It's
they might as well just pop up and be like, hey, it was a different time.
Like honestly, totally. And like now that I'm kind of out of the training mission and getting into the first mission, you hear General Shepard give his fucking shit about like, we don't get to sit one out. The American military doesn't get to sit one out. What we do here matters over there, and all this other shit that you're just like, boy, that stuff rings way worse now than it did even then. And it's fucking kind of crazy. So yeah, it's that game. I haven't gotten to the No Russian stuff, but I don't know. That stuff I feel like got so overblown back then. Obviously it's a crazy mission, right? But like it was weird having played, because I went to an event and played that game before it was out, before anyone knew what a No Russian was. And so information about that started getting out before reviews had hit. So it was that case of like you're sitting there knowing like this is not that big of a deal, and while all this stuff is spinning out of control about like you could kill all these civilians, and it's like no, You don't shoot the gun. You don't need to shoot the gun. You also can't shoot the bad guys right then and there. They've accounted for that sort of stuff in a very video gamey way, but they still like took into account that sort of stuff. So when I played that mission originally, I just shot over the heads of everybody because I wanted to look like I was shooting the gun. So for people who don't know, it's a mission where you're basically undercover with the bad guys, shooting up an airport. And so
Jeff, remember, no Russian.
And right, yeah, sorry. Okay. And also, yes, you are not to speak Russian. So in that mission, I just assumed, knowing how Call of Duty tends to work about shooting civilians, that it's like, oh, I need to make it look good, but I can't actually kill any of these people, and just kind of automatically started shooting above their heads. And so got through that whole mission without killing any civilians, and then went back later and went like, I wonder if you can. Like, oh, you can. Okay, you can do that, but fucking why would you? And so like when all this stuff hit about like, in this mission you're a terrorist in an airport, it's like, you're super not that, and that's not the context of this. And what they did was, in the context of trying to make that mission happen and trying to make something impactful, I think they did it in a way that felt at least mostly responsible. And I feel like after all these years, I haven't gotten back to that point to see it again. But for as little impact as I felt that had then, I feel like it's so nothing now. I
think it's still pretty wild. I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable playing that today.
I guess I'm saying in the context of like where Call of Duty went after that, and some of the other stuff they did with torture and some of the even in the campaign for the current one, they've got moments, and also like they've accounted for it in a gameplay sense in a different way, where like if they were making that scene today, there would at least be some dialogue in there later on about like, yo, you killed all those people. What the fuck? Like they would at least have some kind of branch about like what you did in that scene, whereas it kind of doesn't here. And so I think they've been better at both ends about like, oh, they want to find ways to make things tense and fucked up in the same way a lot of films do, movies about modern warfare. But also like they are a little bit better about addressing it. Like you did some shit back there.
You did a war crime.
You did soldier. A war, motherfucker. Don't do a war unless it's a modern war.
Jeff, are there any politics in it?
No, weirdly enough,
okay.
like
no,
zero
Activision
politics.
Doesn't do that.
Yeah, Activision doesn't do that. This game that is set in, that is all about like events that happened in Russia as a result of things you did in the previous game. Weirdly enough, zero politics. Hey, kudos to them for leaving it out. I gotta say, yeah, man, it's yeah. I don't know. Like that campaign was good back in the day. I ended up playing through about half of the original Modern Warfare campaign when they remastered that, before going like, all right, I get it, and not necessarily needing to see it through. And I figure I'll probably do the same with this, as play a chunk into it and be like, all right, Call of Duty campaigns are better from a gameplay perspective now than they were then, even if they were maybe telling more fascinating stories in some of these kind of seminal games.
Hey, at least you got those skins.
Yeah, and getting the Ghost skin that looks like Ghost jumping like fucking boat level Modern Warfare 1 Ghost.
Hell yeah,
is a good looking Ghost. So I will use that. I'll use the shit out of that skin.
There's something weird to me about unique skins for Call of Duty characters, because in my mind they are all just military guy in fatigues or some kind of
or Ghost with a mask on his face.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, weirdly enough, I feel like most of the people playing the game, especially now that Warzone is like a free-to-play thing that doesn't come with any of the unique characters, but even before that, most of the people don't never bother to customize their character or pick a character. So there is like a generic army dude that you just get if you haven't picked a unique player or whatever. So
sure.
Real quick, I've been playing a bit more Warzone. I am still blown away with how fun that is.
Yeah, they made some really good changes. So they changed the way grenades work and made the ping button the I believe left bumper. They made the apex change for pinging instead of like down on the D-pad or up on the D-pad or whatever it was before. I wonder if they just had like numbers that were like no one is pinging. They're like, okay, why don't we put it on a button people actually use? And now you have to toggle between your lethal grenades and your tactical grenades, which is a weird, very non-Call of Duty change. But if it gets more people pinging, that's probably an improvement overall. And change the zoom buttons also for the map. So yeah, they've been making changes around that stuff. They rolled out some new modes that I don't know, like doesn't really seem like my thing. I'm into my solos. I'm into playing alone and placing around 16th place. Going, fuck. But yeah, I'm still having
good to keep your
good fun
expectations low.
with that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hello, it's me. I've been playing some of that new Resident Evil 3 remake. Before I get into it, I just wanted to ask if anybody here played old Resident Evil 3, because I did not.
Nope.
No?
Sure.
At a friend's house, but I was under a blanket scared, so I don't remember much.
You didn't get through much of it?
No.
Like, the kind of common sentiment I keep hearing about this is that original 3 was not as good as original 2 anyway, so like maybe that kind of makes up for some of the shortcomings of this thing. Like, I'm not super deep into it, but first of all, it's remarkable how much it looks and feels like last year's. Like, it's got the exact same framework of what they call records, which are kind of in-game achievements that you tick off to get like concept art and models and stuff, and like the UI all feels the same. Like, it really just feels like they popped another one out of that template. But, and again, I don't know how much of this is just descended from the original game, but it feels a lot more kind of action focused, or like more centered around combat in a way.
I'm trying to remember the reception of RE3 back in the day, and I want to say that was because that was the thing, is like Nemesis kind of chases you around, right? So like it was kind of by design very different from 2.
So I haven't seen a ton of him. He's in the intro quite a bit, and I haven't seen much of him since then. But what I keep hearing about him is that his appearances are like scripted. Like the big thing about what was it, Mr. X, the big trench coat guy in the previous game, was he was dynamic. Like, he roamed dynamically, and you could kind of like hide him around and like give him the slip, you know. And it was very tense in a like an interesting way. And apparently Nemesis is just kind of scripted story sequences
like
where
here's a big Nemesis moment, that sort of thing.
He just shows up and does what he's scripted to do, and then you escape, and that's kind of it. But there are zombies everywhere in the early part of this game, and there are in no way enough bullets to deal with them. Like, they're super bullet spongy, and
that's frustrating.
Yeah, it's not the same vibe as 2, which felt like an intentionally limited experience in terms of ammo and stuff like that. You still had room to juke around zombies, and like, this is much more like you have a dodge now, but it's like a timed dodge move that you have to use like right when they lunge at you. If you hit it, you kind of get a free sort of like dodge through them, which feels just much more like timing and action based. And there's like exploding barrels everywhere, and like literally just big red barrels that you're supposed to use to like blow up a bunch of zombies with as few bullets as possible, because you just can't kill everything yourself. Like, I don't know, it looks and feels like that remake from last year, but like the content of it's like a hard thing to describe, because like on the surface they look exactly the same, but just like this just feels like a much more shooting focused experience instead of like as adventure gamey and survival horror-y as 2 was. Like, I need to get deeper into it to see if it feels like that the whole way through. But
well, I'm trying to remember, like, did they let you, Jason, maybe you remember this, but couldn't you just like craft ammo? Like, didn't the bullet situation eventually get over to the other side in this, where you were like, okay, now I'm ready to just murder everything?
Somebody I know that's deeper into this has said exactly that like after another couple hours you get to that point where you always get to in a Resident Evil game, where eventually you have enough ammo to just kind of shoot like crazy and deal with everything. It's just that point comes super early in this game, so maybe I'm actually about to hit that point and it's going to feel totally different. But I don't know, just the focus on dodging and like I don't know, like you could use guns in 2 in the remake last year to deal with your problems, whereas in this it feels like the zombies intentionally just take like 6-8 bullets to drop, and it's just not even a viable strategy anymore. I don't know, there's just a different character to the action in this game that is not super grabbing me so far. But yeah, pretty early. I need to keep getting deeper into it. Vinny's playing, and actually Abby, they also are playing some of it, so they'll have some thoughts on that later in the week as well.
Cool.
But I don't know. It's okay so far. It's just not immediately getting its hooks into me the way that 2 did. Also, the whole thing takes place just on like the streets of Raccoon City, which is just like a super mundane setting compared to the police station.
I mean, the police station is like
right,
iconic, like for the whole franchise. Even that whole thing just stands out. Even if they hadn't done any of these remakes, you would still think about that police station. So
totally,
I mean, that's something I think is true from the original games as well.
Yeah, but on top of that, like the way they recreated it last year with the map that was really well annotated and stuff like that, it felt like the police station phase of that game almost felt like a Metroidvania in 3D because it was like in a really good like self-contained sense of space, and you were doubling back and like finding items to unlock new wings and stuff like that. And this is just like I'm on the streets, I'm going down an alleyway and then over a rooftop, and then like here's a pharmacy that I'm going to pick through, and now I'm in a train station. Like it just doesn't have that feeling of like claustrophobia and a really like well-defined, iconic kind of space.
Yeah, so, I wonder how much of that was just like as technology. Obviously those are all PS1 games, but as they got more comfortable with the tech and stuff like that, if they were like, well, we can make this a much bigger world. Like that was still I guess it kind of still is, but like imagine in the PS1 days, developers going like, we can make this world so much bigger than we did.
We got these JPEGs down. We got these JPEGs down to half the size they were before. We can put twice as many in now.
I wonder if it was just a case of like early, not open world, but just like early example of developers going like, let's just make this big world because we can. Oh shit, we forgot we have to fill it with interesting stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going with it. I'm not super deep into it right now, but like it hasn't quite made the impression that 2 did last year.
I wonder if they had waited longer. Like this feels like it's coming pretty quick after like that 2 remake.
Barely a year later, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the market can't quite is not quite ready for an RE remake every year or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that it'll grab me a little more deeper I get. Do you guys think they go to Code Veronica after this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Code Veronica, and then I think they'll go to 0.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about 0. They could do that.
Yeah, before they eventually get to 4.
Well, like
they have to do 4, right?
Well, I feel like 4 is a wall because it's already a third-person shooter, which is what they're doing with these. So I don't know unless you just like gave it better graphics and called it a remaster. I don't know what else you do. But also, they just put that game out on the Switch like less than a year ago, or about a year ago, I think. Like I don't know how you remake 4 in this format.
If you wait long enough, you get to make it as a PS5 game, and whatever graphical benefits come with that. Maybe that would be the appropriate amount of distance to like say, like, okay, look at these character models, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a Wiimote, what's the point of playing Resident Evil 4?
That is the best version of Resident Evil 4.
Well, let me tell you about the PlayStation Move.
Well,
please don't.
What if it's like a VR release for the PS5? Maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah, maybe they go the other way with it. Now it's a first-person game.
Tank controls.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, gross.
It's a demake.
All right, let's wrap up the games we've been playing real quick so we can get into the news. You guys got a couple other things?
I finished Ori and the Will of the Wisps. If you remember last time, I think I talked about it. You kind of, the way the game is broken up is there's kind of a turning point about halfway. Once you've gotten I think all of your movement upgrades, it kind of opens up and says like, here's 3 different points on the map. Go do these 3 zones in whatever order you want, and then come back for like one final thing. And each of those zones is kind of a different biome with its own boss. And yeah, man, it was just it was really great because each of those also kind of introduces its own mechanic. Like there's a sand area where you kind of get this like digging mechanic that's really fun. There's a light and dark zone, which is kind of less fun. But once everything came together, I was having a great time with it. I think that game just stays really strong. It's got some pretty rough pain spots when it comes to its bosses. I hit this problem with Kunai, you'll remember. It's like, it's a game, this game, especially Ori, is a game all about its movement. It introduced a new way, it introduced some new combat, which is really fun. Like, I praised the combat before. I think it works less good against like one giant boss. Like that game, like you can totally juggle the smaller enemies, which is a lot of fun, but it just, especially there's one boss in particular, like it's the underwater portion of it. And so you don't ever get to heal. because you're never you can never plant your feet on the ground and heal, which made that just really frustrating. Though I think overall it was a really fun game. It kind of stuck with me a little less than the first one, I think.
You mean like story-wise? Or
yeah, it like there was just a lot going on and I didn't really necessarily care for it. And not to get too spoilery, they kind of almost try to do the same thing they did in the first game, but with different, story beats, but very similar vibes. I actually really enjoyed the few chase sequences at the end. I know a lot of people burned out on those or became really frustrated with them. I died like 2 to 3 times, which I think is ideal for one of those chase sequences. I think if it was any more than that, I would have been really frustrated. But yeah, I beat it, and I think I'm just going to spend one of these afternoons going back and getting the 100%. I'm at like 85% anyway. And I figure there's got to be something else in there if you get everything. But I think that game is totally, like, if you are into platformers, I even if I do prefer the first one maybe a tiny bit, like, I think this is just a really good game that people should play. Like, it's short enough. You can beat it in a few sittings. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, man, it's a cool game.
Controls are so good in that game.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is, so I had to switch from the Steam version to the Xbox version because my PC was going through some troubles, and the Xbox version of that game is rough.
You're on a launch Xbox One, right?
Yes.
Not even an S.
There's certain areas where it will just hitch up for 3 to 4 seconds.
Yikes.
In midair too, like mid-combat sometimes, like. And it always is kind of in the same zones. It's always like as you're going back to that main, like as you're traveling back to that main hub area. So I guess
it's always the way. Every time there's a mid-generation hardware refresh, you always hit a point right at the end where they're just like, it technically runs on the old one, but like,
So yeah, I mean, Steam seems like the way to play that version, or that game.
Cool. Any other games, real quick?
I got another game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
One Step from Eden. Imagine if you took pretty much a roguelike deck building like Slay the Spire and then crammed that into Mega Man Battle Network.
Yikes.
And then it was insanely hard and everything's real time.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
I originally was not a fan of you remember how the Battle Network combat worked, right?
Sure.
You would have a set of chips or I guess cards and
chips. They're not cards. It's not a deck building game. Stop saying deck building. Mega Man Battle Network is good, so it can't be a deck building game.
Okay, so your chips, you'd have a set of chips, and then a meter would charge up, and then you'd pause the action, and then you'd eventually pick another set of chips, and then resume combat. This is not that. There's no pausing at all. Everything is constantly going, and it is fudging insane. Because I remember like late game Battle Network, there would just be straight up kill screens where you had no idea what tile to step on because everything would be on fire. Everything is constantly on fire in this game because almost every instance, well, not every instance, but a lot of the encounters at least feel like an end game screen of Battle Network, which can be good and bad. I think one of the most, it is very intense as hell. The other thing that is intense as hell is I think this game is primarily made by one guy, which is pretty impressive. It's out right now. It's on Steam. It's on Switch. I wish the Switch had a better D-pad because being able to get back and forth between the tiles on like the native D-pad buttons there, it's a little finicky. I haven't tried it with a Pro controller just yet. But
have I mentioned there's a new company in the game for those aftermarket replacement Joy-Con shells? Did I ramble about that stuff yet?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, there's another company out there making them now, which they're apparently much better made. Like they actually fit together properly, but. They also, I guess, are using like a soft touch kind of plastic, like same as the Joy-Cons, so they kind of feel the same, and they've got a better D-pad design that's like a scooped, like kind of easier on your thumb than that one I've got.
If you are docked to the Switch, if you're not using like the controller separate or something like that, like this this Hori pad that I got with it has a much better D-pad on it.
Yeah.
It just needs to be on the Switch to work. It doesn't have any kind of juice of its own.
But where I was going with that is that they have all kinds of new finishes. Like they've got a wood grain Joy-Con.
Yeah, but this one's got a Pikachu on it.
Yeah.
I love Pikachu.
Pikachu's good. Yeah. That guy. I really loves this guy.
But yeah, the format of this game is kind of exactly like how Slay the Spire is, where you'll have different like dungeon floors, and then you'll progress through a map, and then there's like kind of a branching path from there, whether you go to like a campfire to heal up, a store, a mini boss, random encounter, and that culminates in a boss fight. And then after the boss fight, the neat thing about the boss fights is you can choose whether or not to spare them. And if you spare them, and if you don't kill them, they'll heal you, and they might visit you in the next dungeon floor you're going to. I've yet to successfully pass through a whole instance. But yeah, just like Slay the Spire, you're leveling. You have two levels you're leveling up, I guess. One general one that's unlocking more cards as you go, and then one that's tied to the run that you're currently on. It's really fudging hard, but I'm getting the hang of it.
I just downloaded it. I can't wait. I've been watching some people stream it. It looks really fun. It looks kind of like it could be in that vein of an Isaac, where it's somewhat dependent on getting a good like early build and then snowballing from that. But I just checked the Steam page, and they put out a huge balance patch yesterday, so it looks like they're fairly active about trying to tweak and tinker with it.
Have they said anything about renaming the cards to chips or anything? It's not card.
There's spells? Does that help?
Jeff, what about cyber cards?
Spells are for nerds.
Still cards.
So I don't know, man. Magic, like all that crap. Like, what is this, Harry Potter? Like, no, thank you.
I'm still was Harry Potter though.
Yeah.
But it's really dope. It's only $20. And there is a PvP, but I think as of right now, it's only same console or like in the same PC.
Okay.
All right.
One step from Eden.
Yeah.
And I'm about to break.
Is that like, is it just blowing up in the kind of Battle Network fandom because they haven't had one of those in a long time, and it's just like, oh my god, any port in a storm, finally one of these?
I think it's like going back and forth because they've gotten rid of the choosing your chips mechanic, and everything's just shuffle of cards. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people notice the Battle Network combat and be like, "Ooh, another one of those."
Kind of scratching that itch.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's say we move into some news. If you guys don't have any other games, to get to.
Yeah.
All right. Imagine news, music. Yeah. All right. This investment in streaming hardware is paying off finally.
I've got the podcast music in a Dropbox folder somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it here. I could pull it up right now if you want. But you saw what happened last week.
I don't. Yeah.
When I tried to play that Columns music.
Well, yeah.
When you give Brad too much power.
What if the Columns music was the new news music?
Oh my god!
I mean,
all right, I got this foobar.
I mean, the news and Columns are both depressing, so
yeah.
Well, this is not depressing.
Good.
Well.
Oh wow. Oh man, do you have a take? Do you have a take in the chamber?
Get into it.
Okay. All right. All right. So the big story that's come out over the last day or two came from Eurogamer, and I guess this is a sister site of theirs, Video Games Chronicle, which I think is a newer site. They've been kind of ping-ponging back and forth with some Nintendo rumors. The first headline was, Nintendo has big plans for Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary. Let me just scroll down to the quote. As part of its anniversary celebrations, Nintendo will reveal plans to re-release most of Super Mario's 35-year back catalog this year. So Eurogamer did some follow-up reporting on that. They've both kind of independently confirmed this stuff, and then some other sites have also stepped in and said, yes, we have independently confirmed this with our sources, so this seems like completely just about guaranteed to happen at this point. They say remasters of Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy are on the way. A, quote, deluxe edition of Super Mario 3D World from the Wii U, which is a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And a brand new not remastered, but a new Paper Mario also slated for this year.
Yes.
So
Sounds great.
That's a shit ton of Mario stuff.
I hope
And it's a new Paper Mario, right? Not a
Yes, so it is a brand new Paper Mario, and in fact, they said that this one is supposed to lean much more toward the kind of RPG origins of the series. Like it's much more, it's much more like Thousand Year Door and those first couple.
The ones people liked, as opposed to the ones people did not like.
Yeah, the last two, three Paper Mario.
Hey man, it's Nintendo. Anything goes.
Yeah. Shit.
So again, there have been like 3 different stories they've run on this as they've updated new information, and as of recently, they are now saying that those 3 remasters, so Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, are going to be part of a collection package of some sort, not like separate games that they would sell.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but they were saying that it's more than just a straight remake, right? It's more of a...
seems...
There's language around it.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
Like the nature of what these remasters are actually going to be doesn't seem to be explained so well here. Like, I don't know if that's just new graphics or... It sounds like 3D World, specifically the Wii U game, is getting new levels and new content, so that will be new stuff, but like what these more classic games are going to look like is not detailed very well.
They'd probably have to do some control work or whatever to accommodate for some of the different functionality.
I guess so. I mean, like that's kind of like the big question, especially about Mario 64 to me, because the controls in that game are so different from what you have in like a Mario Odyssey now in terms
Galaxy
of...
too.
Well, yeah, that's sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, you've got Joy-Cons that can kind of approximate that stuff, but like, I just mean like basic camera control in Mario 64. I mean, you literally were hitting buttons to like spin the camera around in increments, you know? Like, do they rework stuff like that, or do they try to stick as close to the way that game played as possible?
Right. If you like snap the right stick to the left, will it just go boop, like one little bit?
Right.
It's like VR turning. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope like if they're going to the trouble to remaster it and do work to it, that they're like also we modernize some of the controls. I think that's what, you know, they've re-released Mario 64 before on the the DS.
Yeah,
DS.
But that was just a straight port, pretty much.
So I think they've done the straight port.
It had multiplayer. You could run around as Wario.
Yeah. They did some stuff. It was neat, I guess. So yeah, I would really appreciate like a full on. I think a full remake of Mario 64 would be really interesting.
Totally, I agree.
But like a remaster that at least like touches the controls and makes them more modern. I feel like to me that would be interesting. If it's just, hey, here's better looking Mario 64, but the controls have just been duplicated and mapped to a Switch controller, that's way less interesting.
Here's a question. Super Mario Sunshine. Obviously, bad game. We don't need to discuss that. That's written in stone.
Yeah, right. God.
But like one of the worst things about it is the way it controls. It just controls really poorly. Do you think that there is a world where they could re-tinker with that stuff to make it actually play well and maybe make it a decent game?
Well, I mean, it's not from a controller perspective, right? Because the GameCube controller has roughly like a similar number of inputs to modern controllers. So... and a similar layout, bare minimum. So it'd be better because you wouldn't have to touch a GameCube controller.
Right.
Hopefully
but you can also uninvert the camera as well.
Fuck, God. Oh, yeah. I always forget about that.
Remember Super Mario Sunshine?
I don't want to, but yes. No, I've tried to play Mario Sunshine on not a GameCube controller, and it doesn't save it. So it would take more work than, if they could uninvert, that's certainly a step. But I don't know. Like, what would you change that would not require you to also make like changes to the world and all that other stuff? Like, right. I wonder. Like, I don't know how you go about fixing Mario Sunshine other than putting a bullet in it. But, yeah, man. I don't know.
Do you think?
Camera control is real bad on those platforming levels. The levels where you didn't have flood, like that stuff is real bad. So, like a smarter camera would probably help with that.
Do you think, since we're talking changes to these games, do you think they have to come up with a non-motion based way to play Galaxy? Because so many people are going to be playing this like handheld or with a Pro controller.
Right.
Like
I would hope so.
Something
like,
that lets you doesn't force you to separate your hands with 2 independent Joy-Cons. Because like
right. Yeah, I would hope that they would come up with something like that. And I feel like people playing that game on a computer have solved that in a number of different ways.
They've solved a lot of problems with those games, actually.
Yeah, man.
That way.
I was playing 50 Cent Blood on the Sand on my PC the other day.
Yeah.
Just like, fucking, the world is weird.
Breath of the Wild has ray tracing now.
Sure.
It turns out.
That's weird. All right,
Yeah,
fuck.
right?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like that's kind of the other thing is like, you know, there are people that have been playing better looking versions of these games in a variety of illicit ways or you know, or at least gray market ways for some time. So like there's kind of a bar that you would hope they would go past with this stuff. Also, no mention of Galaxy 2, just Galaxy 1.
That's what this says so far. Yeah. So that leads me to another question, which is if they really are going to sell a single package with all three of these games, like what do they charge for it? Because it seems like
$60.
You think they can't go over that, right?
$60.
$60.
Okay. Surely, I mean,
$60 and Galaxy 2 is a $20 DLC add-on.
Do they call this Super Mario All Stars 2?
No, because these games are not all stars.
Hey, I mean, Lost Levels was in All Stars 1.
Yeah,
so
let me tell you,
that game's great. I want to know if this is like the 35-year celebration, which is weird because that means they're going back to 85, which means it's like technically a celebration. It really is a Super Mario celebration and not just a Mario celebration, because we'd be going back to Donkey Kong for that. Hell yeah! If this is a true celebration of Super Mario, I want Super Mario Brothers Special to be included. I want the fucking PC-88 and Sharp X1 versions of Super Mario Special to be re-released. Re-released is not the word. Inflicted is maybe the better word on a new generation of players. I want that dump to be dumped on someone. Get Hamster involved if you have to. If you don't want to touch it yourself, like get
Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, Iron Galaxy or Hamster, either or. And get Super Mario Special out there for the people, because people need to know the roots. Yes. When you go to Hot Topic and you buy the shirt that says "Respect the Roots" instead of a picture of a fucking Atari controller or whatever dumb shit it has, I want a picture of the box for Super Mario Brothers Special.
Yeah.
I have to tell you real quick after Ben said that I went to Google and typed in the word Super Mario All-Stars 2. Mm-hmm. Which took me to a new VentureBeat story that says that that's exactly how they are regarding this internally. Our source is telling us that Nintendo is pursuing something like a Super Mario All-Stars 2 for the 3D Mario games. So
that's great.
Yeah. That's kind of it. That's what's out there right now. Like they're talking like this was all planned to be revealed at E3. At some kind of physical event, which will no longer happen. They're trying to decide.
Remember that? Remember E3?
Yeah, right.
Man.
No.
So
what? Remember leaving the house?
Yeah.
What?
No.
I mean, I never did that anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about. But so they're trying to rethink like how they're going to roll this stuff out now in light of E3 being canceled. But
it's called Nintendo Direct.
Very possible. They this is also tied into like that theme park opening, and I guess.
Oh yeah. Remember theme parks?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. People, remember leaving your house?
Sure.
Now I do.
To go to a theme park?
It's also tied into the Mario animated movie that I completely forgot they were working on. But that's also happening.
Oh yeah. By the
So
Minion
weird.
people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they had Year of Luigi a while back. I guess this is Year of the Mario franchise or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like the Year of Mario might be a bigger deal than the Year of Luigi.
Yeah.
Who could have guessed?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that stuff all sounds exciting. I mean, like 3D World, I think, is like... I'm not going to say that game doesn't get its due because plenty of people recognize it as being great, but like it doesn't feel like it's up there in the pantheon the way that like, you know, 64
a lot of those
and Galaxy and like some of the more traditional games feel like they get more prominence.
I need to go back and look at what 3D World is because I feel like with that 3DS game and some of the other stuff, like a lot of that style of even just the new Super Mario Brothers games, obviously it's, you know, 2D, whatever, right. But a lot of the modern Mario stuff started to run together for me in a way where when you say, no, new Super Mario, hey, they're going to make a new Super Mario 3D World add-on thing. I'm like, I'm not sure I remember which game that is.
Yeah, they definitely
I'm not sure I remember which game that is.
Yeah, they went off in a lot of different directions. Like 3D Land and 3D World specifically are like kind of a weird isometric sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Isn't 3D World the first one with Cat Mario?
Yes, I believe that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah, but specifically like the perspective, like that kind of
And the 3DS one was Land.
Yes,
right.
That was the first one.
Yes.
And that one actually like relies on the 3D for some perspective puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I liked that game. I seem to. I'm trying to remember. I remember with World being like. There was an era with those games, and the new Super Mario Brothers games, I think, did this to a certain extent too, where like the traditional progression through the levels was like so flat and easy and whatever. And then there was this feeling of like, yeah, but when you finish the game, that's when the real challenge starts.
Totally.
And
3D Land did exactly that.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. I want that challenge to be interspersed throughout me playing the thing and not built around. And I don't remember if the Wii U one did this or not, but there's definitely that era of just like, no, you don't have enough coins to unlock the cool shit. You need to go back and play these levels again to make sure you get the coins this time. I was like,
I forget how they handled that stuff. But like the thing I remember about 3D World, like you should go take a look at it if you have it and don't remember it.
Yeah,
is that like
it's been a long time.
In my memory, like every single level in that game has some unique mechanic that they came up with and designed and like programmed and implemented. Like the amount of just sheer design work in that game, level to level, is like mind blowing. There's just a ton of different stuff, a lot of variety in what you're doing level to level. Like it's wild how much they crammed into that game.
Nice.
So
yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it. It's that stuff kind of started running together like post Galaxy 2. I think a lot of stuff just kind of like they're making more Mario games. Do these ones count? Are these canon? I don't even know anymore. What is canon?
That's what Mario shoots out of.
Okay,
that's where the bullet bills come from.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes way more sense.
I think that's pretty much it. It's like the kind of the All Stars collection of those three. It's the 3D World kind of port / new levels. The new Paper Mario. That's pretty much the roundup for Mario stuff right now. Seems like pretty big stuff. You know, like this year has been looking super dry for Switch releases. So like that's not a bad slate if that's the direction they're going to go.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else they have. Do you think Zelda makes it out this year?
I don't know. Like until all this Mario stuff, I would have said like very possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
But like that's enough stuff. I mean, granted, Paper Mario is the only actually new game in that list. But
yeah, but if this was going to be the big E3 focus, like that says the E3 focus was not Zelda to me.
Yes.
Or Metroid.
Or Metroid, sure.
Yeah. Now that all this Mario stuff is out there, I'm gonna change my guidance on Zelda coming out this year to probably not.
Yeah.
Is how it feels to me.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff coming out from Nintendo, they have come out and said that the current coronavirus pandemic is affecting Switch production. I don't know if you guys have looked into trying to obtain a new Nintendo Switch right now, but it's kind of impossible.
It's kind of tough, yeah.
I guess it sounds like lights are maybe a little bit easier to come by than regulars, but even that is not a guarantee by any means. But they flat out said that production and distribution are now being impacted by the pandemic, so stay tuned.
And demand is higher than it's ever been.
Yes. Also,
totally
imagine that. Ring Fit also included in that as a device that needs to be manufactured.
I saw someone on Twitter like, I could get back into Ring Fit, or I could sell it for $300 to somebody else.
Put food on the table.
Yeah.
So there's that to be aware of. And then last Nintendo thing, they ran a surprise Nintendo Direct this week with kind of, it's nothing super mind-blowing. They announced Bravely Default 2 for the Switch.
Cool.
2K.
Hadn't they already said?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yes, the third Bravely Default game, Bravely Default 2.
I feel like I feel like that got announced a while back, and this was just further detail.
Chat says it was already announced, but their headline on Nintendo's headline is 4 all new adventurers in a game from Square Enix. So 2K is bringing. What's that?
Sorry, I jumped the gun. I got excited about the Ring Fit DLC.
2K is porting BioShock the Collection, the Borderlands Legendary Collection, and the XCOM 2 Collection to the Switch. So,
an XCOM game on Switch seems like it'd be cool.
That works out.
That sounds awesome. Also, though, thinking about how that game ran on even the bigger consoles, I really hope that they do some work on it. Also, I didn't pull this up, but I saw people out there saying that they have confirmed that those carts are all basically going to be super small, and that you're going to have to download like a large portion of each of those games. If
I mean, 2K got away with it for NBA, didn't they?
So, yes, don't buy those games if you don't have an internet connection, I guess. Let's see here. I guess an ARMS character is coming to Smash. Anybody?
Yeah.
Finally. Which one?
They didn't say.
I know.
They were like,
oh shit! Which one do you want it to be? Which ARMS character is your favorite, Brad?
Well,
if anybody knows how to build
it's
anticipation,
Helix.
it's Nintendo. By saying,
like
"Hey,
Helix would be the one."
It's either Helix or it's the one everyone's horny for.
Right.
Oh,
Helix.
Helix, yeah.
Jan, there's some Pokemon stuff going on that you want to talk about?
Yeah.
They talked about the expansion pass for Sword and Shield a little bit, and then there's, some tournament stuff?
Yeah, so Pokemon Worlds is still up in the air whether or not it continue to happen this year, but I think the Pokemon Company officially announced today that they're postponing it till 2021, but all the points you had earned to make it into Worlds will carry over to next year. So I think to get into Worlds, you needed to like go to whatever tournaments to build up and accumulate whatever points, whether it's like the card game or it's the Switch game. But now those will carry over from this season into next as a sorry because they had to cancel it for safety issues, which I think is a neat way to handle it.
Yeah. Good for them. I'm glad my Poke points are going to be okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say at some point though, if your points carry over, do you get into a situation sometime next year where like the leader is so far in the lead that you're like, why am I even bothering? Someone did all their grinding last year.
It's only like a threshold to get into the tournament.
Okay.
However many you have doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you just want to like win that money.
I do.
I mean,
That's
I'm not
why
going to not win money.
Get those bells.
So we're saying we're all going to enter as a team, beat Worlds next year, split the pot amongst us.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do pot splitting.
Yeah, everyone loves it when spots get split.
Pass it on the left.
Yeah.
Ben, what's up with this Ring Fit stuff?
Yeah, so there's like it's mostly quality of life stuff. They added more voice options for your little ring character, but the big thing is there's a new rhythm game that it's all tracks from other Switch games. Like there's some Breath of the Wild, there's some Mario Jump Up Superstars, the one from the trailer, and it's basically it's like Guitar Hero but with the thing where you gotta match the do it over here, then do it over here.
Sounds cool and also strenuous.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to get into it yet. I haven't been feeling up for playing Ring Fit lately, but I'm gonna dive in and check it out.
Oh, is that
Check
out
this
now?
out. Wait, is it out now? I don't know.
It's out now.
Okay. What if instead of getting into Ring Fit, you found a DDR mat and hooked it up to your computer and got way into Step Mania?
I mean, I
got way
would
back
do that.
into Step Mania.
Oh, I left my DDR mats at the office. Damn it.
Well, okay. Have fun with Ring Fit. I'm getting my DDR mats out of the garage any day now. I know where they are now. I found them. I just got to find Step Mania and then...
Any day now.
And then find...
An adapter.
A lot of... No, they're USB mats.
Okay.
I have some straight up PC mats.
Are you going to have a feet cam?
Oh, I always have a feet
Only
cam.
for premium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Premium
That's the second stream.
/feet.
Got to make these premium tools work for us.
That's right.
Yeah. Last thing from the Direct, I think, at least for me, is did you guys see this game Good Job that they kind of stealth announced and released during that thing?
Yeah.
I streamed a couple hours of it on the site last week. That thing is cool as hell. You should really check that thing out.
It looked really neat.
It looks like the characters and the visual design is kind of like the little safety videos from Portal. You remember those with the little featureless people, the blocky characters and stuff? Like it looks like that. But you're basically in a gigantic office building going floor to floor, like solving problems by basically destroying everything. It's full of physics, like you can push objects around, and like there's an electricity system where you can like pull power cords and plug them into things to make them activate, but then you can also use those cords like slingshots and just straight up like send a copy machine flying through a wall and shit like that. It's really fun. It's really stupid and chaotic and physics based and stuff. You should give that thing a look.
Cool.
I had a lot of fun with
it. Is that out?
It's out. It came out that day.
It's out now?
Yeah, it came out during the direct.
Hey, I streamed some of that Control DLC.
Oh,
yesterday.
right. Shit, I totally forgot to. Well, here, why don't we talk about this Epic Games Publishing situation, so we can also talk about Control, because Control is kind of part of that. So, have they used the phrase Epic Games Publishing prior to this announcement? I can't remember if they had announced that or not.
So I feel like the talk that Epic was looking to build a publishing division like predates the store.
Right. It's definitely been out there for a while, right?
Yeah. That they were looking to publish some games. So this is finally kind of coming to fruition. They announced their first set of deals.
Yes. So yeah, whether this is also an announcement of the actual publishing label, I'm not sure. But so the Epic Games Publishing is the name of their publishing arm, and they have come out and announced deals with Remedy, makers of Control, Playdead, who made Limbo and Inside, and Gen Design, which is the studio of Fumito Ueda, who made Last Guardian. I guess they worked on Last Guardian as Gen Design, is my understanding.
Yeah.
So they are talking kind of a big game about, I'll just use their language. The Epic Games approach to publishing fundamentally changes the developer-publisher model, aims to have the most developer-friendly terms in the industry so that creators can focus on making great games. Their kind of three big bullet points here are full creative freedom and ownership. Developers retain 100% of all intellectual property and full creative control. Fully funded projects, Epic Games Publishing will cover up to 100% of development costs, from developer salaries to go-to-market expenses such as QA, localization, marketing, and all publishing costs. And then lastly, 50-50 profit sharing. Developers earn a fair share of their work. Once costs are recouped, developers earn at least 50% of all profits. And then there's a Tim Sweeney quote in here that basically says, "We're building the publishing model we always wanted for ourselves when we worked with publishers," which makes me immediately think back to which publishers they worked with back in the day, but that's beside the point. Midway.
Midway. Jeez.
It seems like a pretty big thing, pretty big initiative.
Totally, yeah. So it's weird because in some ways it sounds like a record deal. You know, the whole idea of like recouping costs and all that other stuff, like kind of sounds like that. And no one talks about record deals like they're good, but at the same time, no one talks about most game publishing deals like they're good either. So this seems like significantly better terms than most developers get out there these days. And it's fascinating. So this is, I think he's heading up publishing, but this is Hector Sanchez.
Yes, he's quoted in this press release.
Yeah, so he was at Annapurna before this. He was at Midway before this. I guess he would. Yeah, that's where he was. No, he's at Sony before that, and then anyway, whatever.
Yes.
Annapurna built this whole division around publishing games, and they've been doing really well at picking stuff, and he was a part of building that up. And so, like, this is like on a crazy bigger scale, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Remedy
those are three. Yeah, those are three big gets for sure. Like, those are all studios that have made some extremely acclaimed games.
And studios that you probably feel okay, like taking, like if you're Epic, you probably feel like, all right, taking that risk on. You're like, okay, like look at the track record of these studios. We think if we give them enough rope, they will actually come back with money instead of hanging themselves. That seems cool. They did say that these were multi-platform.
Okay, yeah, this little
deals.
This landing page doesn't mention too much about that, but
my guess is that means, hey, it'll come to consoles, not hey, it'll come to Steam.
Yeah. Steam obviously is they just from a straight up financial standpoint, they can't skip consoles. Like that is
totally.
That's too much of a moneymaker. But Steam is the bigger question. Like, do you think that these are just Epic exclusive in perpetuity, or do you think it's more of a like Epic for the first year and then we'll put it out on other digital PC platforms?
I think they probably need to look at that as what's best for the partners, like the developers that they're partnering with, and what's best for them and all that other stuff. So like part of that becomes like, hey, do we think that these developers do you think we could all be making more money if we bring this to Steam?
Right.
Or is it worth it for us to say, no, we're trying to build market share and it's worth it for us to sacrifice some amount of money that we would get in Steam sales to build that market share. And then, Epic is doing a 50-50 split, which is better than plenty of other publishing deals, so that's still probably going to work out in the devs' favor, assuming they recoup.
Considering how much money Epic just has in the bank in general, like I would guess they would want to lean towards building up extra capital in the Epic Store.
You would assume
versus whatever they would make on Steam sales.
Yeah, and that's a thing that Steam's not a platform; it's a store. Epic Game Store is not a platform; it's a store.
Yeah,
PC is the platform. Windows is the platform.
Right.
If anything, so when they say multi-platform, I assume that's what that means. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll be weird about it and just be like, "Fuck it, we'll put it everywhere." I don't know.
Yeah. Another real quick coronavirus update, just that I saw going around on Twitter. We mentioned before that Square Enix has been kind of steadily updating people on the state of the Final Fantasy VII Remake launch / shipping situation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. They finally have taken the very un-Square Enix step of shipping the game early to the territories that they thought were most going to be impacted by this stuff.
Wow.
So physical copies of the game are out, I believe. Yeah, and they they flat out say, if you get the game early, please think of others and don't spoil it for them.
Nice. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's what
don't
they're saying.
Spoil Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there certainly are. If you didn't read those data leaks, there are questions around
sure.
I wonder how much Sephiroth is actually in this. I wonder who they have you fight at the end. There are surprises.
There are. It's not 1-to-1 with the old game, but fucking come on.
Yeah. But
hey man, I never played it. Don't spoil it.
I wonder how that ends up working out on Twitch. If they start reaching out to streaming platforms saying hey, could you take these pre-release streams down? I don't know how aggressive they'll be about
Twitch's policy is typically to just do. I want to say they just do that automatically.
Okay, so maybe that's not so much of a concern.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully people will be able to get their hands on that in a timely fashion. Valorant, that 5-on-5 team-based shooter from Riot that just got named 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
that's the first time I heard of it.
Yeah, going into closed beta next week, a week from today, April 7th. The closed beta will be ramping up. Sounds like they're kind of pulling some Riot account / League account stuff where you need to tie into your Twitch and maybe be watching a certain stream or something to be considered for the beta.
Beta access through Twitch loot drops.
Yeah, something,
is that
something
what it
along
is?
those lines. They haven't been super. When closed beta activates in your region, watch specific Valorant streams highlighted on Twitch for the opportunity to be entitled for closed beta access.
No,
is how they're handling stuff.
No, what?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
How many activations does one need to activate in order to participate in the video game?
Can never have enough activations.
How much data do I need to send in my blood type? Let me in.
Look, you give a man an activation, he'll mark it for a day. Yeah. Teach a man to activate. Okay. Anyway, that'll be ramping up a week from now, so I imagine we'll be seeing what that looks like, if not playing it ourselves. Anybody interested in playing the original Nier in a remastered fashion?
In a remastered fashion.
It depends on how much they remaster it, I think.
Right.
More fishing everywhere.
Right.
All right.
From what I'm seeing, this is going to be 1.2247448713 times what the original Nier was. So plenty of new stuff.
Please say the full title of the game, Brad.
Yeah, it's Nier Replicant version 1.2247448713 is the full title of this game.
Of course it is. And
it's it's
you think that title will increment?
Yeah. When they did this originally, the U.S. got a different game than Japan did.
Yeah, so I had to kind of do a quick crash course on what that was about to get this right. But the original Nier came out on the PlayStation 3 in Japan as Nier Replicant, which is basically what this remaster is based on. And then outside of Japan on the 360 was Nier Gestalt, which is the game I believe, did a quick look of ages ago. So that's how that breakdown happened.
Yeah.
I found a 30-minute YouTube video explaining the differences and decided not to watch it. But
good call.
Yes, it is a remaster of the original Japanese release, not the 360 port that came out in English. So they also announced a game called Nier Reincarnation for phones, which sounds like I think they're calling it a free-to-play role-playing game. So draw your conclusions from that.
Speaking about free-to-play role-playing games.
God damn it.
No, it's not Grand Blue. I swear. It's Square put out a I forget what it's called, World of the something, World of the Visions. It's pretty much Final Fantasy Tactics as a gacha. It's pretty neat.
Okay. Huh.
It's neat. I've only done a couple missions, but
yeah. And that Control DLC seems good. It's more.
Oh
Control.
God, I'm sorry. Jesus, I completely forgot again. I actually want to hear about it because like I love Control and I want to know how good that is.
So it seems like it's like post-game stuff. Like it's stuff that you do kind of after completing.
It's set after you've kind of purged the.
Yeah, well,
stuff.
when they sent it out, they said, "Hey, you're going to need an end game save for this."
Okay.
So it seems like it's designed to be played after you finish the game.
Okay.
And so you're kind of you get a new mission that sends you to an area, and basically you kind of teleport off the map into a separate whole zone that is a series of caves and all this other stuff. You get your choice of one new ability out of two. Basically, these crystal formations around the caves and stuff, and the one I chose is like you basically pull the crystal formations out of the walls to turn them into platforms.
Oh, cool!
And then so you're kind of jumping on these platforms as you're making them. And it's some additional combat, some additional chances to get ability points, and the story of it is that the astral plane has started bleeding into the real world, and it's down there. Basically, you're at the base of the oldest house, and you're like, oh shit, the astral plane is here. That can't be good. And so it's about you putting a stop to that. And it took me a little, a couple of it took me about half an hour of playing Control again to go like, okay, all right, I feel like I'm getting pretty much back into the loop of how this combat works and all this other stuff. And it's great to have a reason to go back to Control. Like the story stuff has been okay so far. It's not.
Yeah, I was
super
just going to
deep,
ask what the quality of the storytelling was. I mean, like, is there was just so much meat on the bone in Control to me between like the different cutscenes and like the collectibles that were actually worth reading all of and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like it just felt like
there are
robust.
more. Yeah, there are more collectibles. Like basically, it's like you're trying to find out like why did part of the oldest house teleport down here in the 60s and what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I guess like more specifically, that's my question, is if they get into more of that just good like thick bureaucratic nonsense.
There's definitely some of it. I haven't finished it, so I'm not sure how deep it goes on that stuff, but it's a lot of the board talking to you about hey, here's what you need to do to save the oldest house or save the world from colliding with the astral plane.
Sure. Cool. I want to play that.
Yeah, the combat's been pretty similar. All told, it's like here's another arena with the same style of combat from the main game. But
which version are you playing?
PC.
Oh, I could have sworn that was PS4 exclusive. I bought the season pass for that a couple months ago because I thought it was coming out first on PS4.
I think it's just not on Xbox. I think it's on everything but.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels great. I love that game. It still looks great, all that other stuff. So it's great to just get back into that world a little bit, even if a lot of the environment here is just this kind of featureless cave.
Oh, that's
you have to imagine this is probably they weren't making this off of the release of Control. They're probably had some time to start development, and I hope that the next few going forward are maybe a little more ambitious.
Yeah, well, there are still big monolithic buildings in these caves. Like there's still stuff along the way. It's not just caves. And I saw someone on Twitter saying like, man, the new song in this is really good. So I don't know, maybe it's got some weird music moment like the main game had or something. I'm not sure, but
it'd be really tough to top that stuff from the original game. But
I think so too. But it's it's a good crash course through a lot of what made Control great, and the story stuff is intriguing enough to where I really want to see how it wraps up. So
cool. People in chat so this is a 2-part, or I mean, there's a second DLC episode coming. You may know. And some people, some people in chat are saying that the next one is going to be Alan Wake. Oh, you know what? I remember they put out like
they put out a roadmap.
Key I thought that was the last one.
Yeah,
I think there's only 2, isn't there?
I thought there were 4.
I don't know, but anyway, it sounds like the next one coming out is the one that's very Alan Wake focused.
Yeah, cool. It might be like 2 story focused parts and 2 that are more arena combat or something like that. I'm not positive.
They put out that Expeditions mode a few months ago, which is just
that's
a pure,
maybe that was okay.
That's just a pure gameplay thing. But But yeah, like the little teases about how that world ties into Alan Wake in the main game were pretty cool. So curious to see how that stuff goes. All right, a couple more quick stories before we take a break and then do some emails. The Artifact team it's just an embarrassment of riches about Artifact here.
Honestly, this kind of got me excited.
There is real meat in this. Like, it's a tiny little goofy kind of Steam news post or whatever entitled "What's the Plan?" Beta 2.0.
What's the plan?
And they basically say, like, hey, we're like testing kind of boring back-end stuff on the game right now. We're going to start trickling out invites to people specifically who bought and played the original game first. Sounds like those people will be the priority for getting into the beta of the new version. The big stuff here is, like, they flat out say, hey, we're not going to sell cards and packs anymore. Like, that's the thing.
That was that was the thing where I was reading it and I was like, do I remember enough about Artifact to remember like what I want them to change about Artifact? But when I saw that line, I was in. I mean, like, that's, it was a $40 game and you were still buying cards in there and it was just not appealing at all. But now that they say that you are going to be unlocking them through play and that there's going to be a sort of drafting style mode in there to give you access to cards you don't have, it's perfect.
Yeah. It says we focused on we focused on making the game easier to pick up. We aren't selling cards, so you won't face an opponent with a stacked deck. And then, like you said, we've added a new draft mode, Hero Draft, that gives you a taste of constructing decks without all the pressure.
Parts of Artifact felt like it was, like Valve, I think, was one of the first companies that I remember saying, oh yeah, we hired an economist. And Artifact feels like a game partially designed by that economist.
Yes.
So,
sure.
Yeah. Fixing that is probably cool.
They've got a little FAQ at the bottom, and one of the questions there is, can I buy cards or packs in the beta? We have some ideas about what we'd like to sell, but none of them are cards or packs. So maybe
hats. Hats for cards.
Hats. It's a proven
card hats.
It's a model with a proven track record. They mentioned the biggest change they're making to gameplay is zooming out to allow players access to all 3 lanes at once. The majority of effects still work on individual lanes, so they still maintain their identity, but it's less likely that a player will get shut out in the same way they used to.
It definitely felt like that game more so than a Hearthstone. And I wasn't a Hearthstone expert, but you could feel like, oh, I'm definitely losing 2 of these 3 lanes, and there's like almost nothing I can do. It felt like a Dota game where like you're clearly like, oh, I've lost, and I just kind of need to ride this out.
Yeah. This sounds promising. This would potentially make me give Artifact a shot, even so. Are
they still calling them cards? Maybe that's how they're getting around it by, we're not going to sell cards or packs. Okay, if they're calling them chips, all right, then Artifact 2, let's check it out.
All right, last story real quick. Netflix is making a live-action Dragon's Lair movie starring Ryan Reynolds. Your thoughts?
Fuck, no. What? Think about, okay, how long, what is Dragon's Lair? It's a dude trying to save a princess from a dragon, and he goes through a castle. Like, there's so little there. I mean, it's more than Asteroids. When they optioned Asteroids as a movie, or Tetris, you're like, what the fuck this? Come on. But, so there's, like, more than that here. You've got character names. You've got your Daphne, your Dirk the Daring, your Singe. But, fucking, like, what is that other than just, like, here's a standard fantasy story that happens to have this like license that, like, how many people can name that the fucking dude's name was Dirk the Daring? Like, how many people fucking care? Like, what is Dragon's Lair to a modern audience, right? Like, what if it's fantasy but funny? They made that. It was called fucking Dragon's
Black
Lair,
Knight.
the Saturday morning cartoon.
Sure.
I just hope he doesn't bring any of that chaotic Deadpool energy to the movie.
It's going to be that.
We can't handle that right now.
The end reveal is going to be he was actually Deadpool the entire time, and this was the ultimate breaking of the 3rd and 4th wall.
To be fair, the guys writing it also wrote the Lego Movie, which is great. So maybe
is it the Lonely Island guys? No, never mind. They didn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Also, in the course of looking at this, I found that, did you see this movie that, like, Ryan Reynolds' next movie, which is him playing?
Oh, is it a superhero?
Yeah,
like,
well, no, it's a GTA
game character.
Like a GTA.
Yeah.
Like he's playing like an NPC from a Grand Theft Auto game or some. It's bizarre. I don't know.
It looks bad.
Everyone should just watch Serenity instead. Much better movie.
Definitely a good use of your time.
Oh, they should have made Andy Samberg the Dragon's Lair guy.
Yeah, he's. I feel like he would be a more believable. He's got that kind of goofy. Like if you think about what that dude looks like in that game, like there's definitely like a goofy energy to him that I don't know that Ryan Reynolds is that guy. Andy Samberg could pull that off though.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg is everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Great looking princess. What were we talking about?
And it's a musical now.
Who's gonna voice the dragon from the Dragon's Lair?
A Vocaloid made out of sound clips of Orson Welles' voice.
All right.
Well, that's smarter than you don't have to pay anyone then.
Exactly.
Great. We'll get Netflix on the phone. They're right down in the South Bay. All right. That's it for a very long news section. Let's take one more quick break, and we're going to come back and read the emails.
Yay.
All right, we're back, and it is the
Welcome back.
final portion of the show. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here in my house.
Been a long time.
Yeah. Last leg of the show here. It means only one thing. It's time for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com.
Like mails.
Yes. Let's see. Oh my God!
There we
wow.
go.
Thank you.
Whoa. Okay.
Definitely
The official
time.
email theme.
Time for some
Emails.
emails for sure. All right, let's get into it. Jesse writes in with much love from South Dakota. Which
Thanks.
system had the best memory cards? Hard mode, you can't save the Dreamcast VMU. I always liked the GameCubes. Something about the little gray square just appealed to me.
The Lara Croft PS2 memory card. Hands down. The
I
best.
liked the little N64 one that slid into the back and had the little arrows for the different numbers
Wait,
you could.
N64 had memory cards?
Yeah, the memory packs that went
You
in the bottom
had
of the
to buy
controller.
one
It's
to
terrible.
play Mystical Ninja.
Yeah.
So I made my mom drive me to the Toys R Us to buy one.
I guess all the games I had just saved on cart. I don't know.
Yeah, all the good games, all the first party games saved to cart. It was a lot of third party stuff where they wanted to cut corners and not put that type of memory in the cart itself. They were like, oh, well, you can save to a memory pack.
The transparent PS2 ones were pretty neat.
The Lara
See all,
Croft
like,
one,
little-
right?
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
See right through her.
I like the GameCube ones were the gray ones were cool, but when they were like, these are bigger and now they're black. I was like, okay, now we're talking.
No, you lose the elegance of the small gray nub.
Well, I had my GameCube custom painted gold, so it was already a gaudy mess. So
I have to say I'm partial to the PS2 memory cards just because they made developers make custom little like animated icons for every game save.
yeah,
I've always thought it was a nice touch.
I think when they had different animations for when you went to go delete a save.
Sure.
Like sometimes when you hit delete, it'd be like, oh, now the character's crying because you're deleting the save. Like that was like an elaborate amount of work.
Or
that-
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, or Heihachi, yeah.
Also partial to that GameCube system interface though. That transparent cube thing is pretty cool.
Managing all your blocks.
Yeah.
Love blocks.
Love a good block.
Bring back the block.
That's right.
We need hyper blocks for the
Yeah.
memory we're using
Giga
now.
blocks.
Roblox.
Yeah.
Kevin writes in from New Haven, probably Connecticut, if I had to guess. I don't know. In regards to the Gundam chunking stream, chunking is a method that squirrels use to organize their nuts by size to make it easier to manage their collection. Ben is using the same method for Gundam building. Excellent word use.
Oh, I also store all the pieces in my cheeks while I'm building, so there
Yeah.
you go.
Which cheeks?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can clearly
Okay,
see
yeah,
there's nothing
yeah.
right here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Next email is from Griffin J in Johnson City. Also doesn't leave a state. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want us to know.
Hey, in this new era, states don't matter anyway.
That's true. That's right. Or do they matter extremely?
Or
I
they
don't know.
matter. Yeah, exactly. They are now the new country, in a sense.
Yeah. So, although this part might at least confine him to a specific region of the country, my local Chuck E. Cheese does not allow anyone inside due to the virus. but they are offering $5 large carry-out pizzas. Is this a good deal? Should I get some? This last question, I think this has to be a typo, but he says, is there pizza food?
No, yeah, that's a question, and no, it's not.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
you're better off with a hot and ready.
Pretty sure he meant, is their pizza good? But I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't had Chuck E. Cheese since the 80s, so I don't know.
It's gotten different since the 90s. I know the pizza quality is different. I had a buddy that worked at one and would occasionally show up with a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese pizzas. Not half bad. You could get them for $5. All right.
But you could go to Little Caesars, and those $5 pizzas, I feel like, have a quality. I guess I don't know enough about the Chuck E. Cheese pizza to be able to compare, but I will say that the Little Caesars hot and readies, those $5 pizzas, they'll do you.
Yeah.
If you need it, and you need it right now, which in this day and age,
man,
who's
could
gonna
you
wait
imagine
around?
the ball pit area of the Chuck E. Cheese?
It's so clean right now.
Yeah.
I ate one of those UFC pizzas that was the last of what they had down there.
Are they hexagon shaped? Or?
Yes, they are.
Octagon?
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
great.
Okay.
All right.
Tap out to hunger.
Put your guts in a leg lock.
Boy.
No fish hooking with these pizzas.
Okay. Next email. David from San Francisco. Is Tony Hawk the Ryu of Tony Hawk games? Does that make Bob Burnquist the Ken?
Yes. In my eyes, that's how I see it.
Well, if you think about Ryu and Ken as being very similar but different, like, I want to say, isn't Bob Burnquist primarily a street skater, and Tony Hawk is definitely a vert skater?
So you think Bob Burnquist is more like a Chun-Li or a Zangief?
Yeah, sort of an opposite. We would need to find like a vert skater that has chosen speed over power. If we assume Tony Hawk is power, then we need to find a faster but slightly less powerful skater.
Seen a lot of Bucky Lasix
on fire.
Yeah.
A lot of
Jaime
Bucky
Thomas
Lasix in the chat.
All right.
Oh,
Who's like a Riley Hawk? Maybe. Okay, apparently Bob Burnquist is classified as a vert skater. So
who's the Dan of Tony Hawk?
Officer Dick.
Lil Wayne.
Darth Maul. Spider-Man. All right. Next email is from Chris in Not Tumwater, Washington. With the third anniversary of the Switch recently passing us by, I was wondering if your expectations and predictions for the console have been surpassed, met, or neither.
I would say slightly surpassed for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the industry at the time. I wasn't following it super duper closely. Wait, was I? No. It's time isn't real anymore. But I think the biggest thing that has sealed it for me is there's the sheer number of really solid older games, like indie games, that I wouldn't have played on my PC being available for on-the-go play. Like, that's just kind of cemented it for me as being a all-time great console.
I want to say surpassed because they've done some wondrous things. Like, they got Doom running on that. They got The Witcher running on that. I think it was a known quantity that it was going to be a success when it first came out. You know, Nintendo handles like nobody does. But just the magical amount of things that they've been able to do that's surpassed my expectations.
I'm gonna say from just a tech standpoint, Mario Odyssey really stands out to me as a game that like both looks better and runs better than I feel like a thing of that size should be able to do. So like that
totally
that's definitely up there for me.
But that was launch.
Well, it was like
it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's say that my expectations for the cadence of the first-party Nintendo releases has been met, which is that they put out some stuff and then they don't put out some stuff for a while.
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me is like there's way more games than I guess I thought there would be. They've leaned into the indie stuff in a way that I didn't expect them to, but I'm using it less than I thought I would because also all those games are available on other platforms, sometimes months earlier. Though I guess that's not as often. Like you're seeing a lot more simultaneous PC and Switch releases, so I guess that's not the thing it used to be, but like I feel like Switch and Xbox One oftentimes get those games later. than certainly Steam does. So yeah.
Next question is from Mark. We may have fielded one kind of like this before, but just in case, here it is again. If Microsoft were to release a fighting crossover a la Super Smash Bros. Or PlayStation All-Stars, which of their IPs do you feel would lend themselves to making the best game?
You could do an uppercut with a chainsaw gun.
Okay, all right.
Be like an upward kind of.
Well, but the blade is on the bottom, though.
Well, yeah, you turn it upside down and do like it's like an anti-air kind of. You could.
Okay. Is it possible to make a game like that without the lizard from Brute Force?
I wouldn't want to.
Yeah. So what would even be the point?
Yeah.
How about the boat?
I mean, they might be booked with contract restrictions with KI, but I feel like the Battletoads. Should be co-opted.
They own Battletoads now, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Would you have like a Viva Pinata gardener that could call out multiple pinatas like a Pokemon
like the Pokemon trainer? Yeah.
That's good.
How about just a Horstachio walking around on its hind legs?
That'd be good too. What if all the items came out of pinatas?
Ooh.
What if you had to beat up pinatas to get the items out? Because Smash Brothers is a game with items. I don't know if you know. That's a lot of people.
Oh.
Do you have to opt in? I've never seen those.
It's full of items. It's full of fun things you can pick up and have fun with.
This isn't not ringing a bell.
All right, well, they could do that with pinatas.
Blinks the time sweeper.
Okay, now you're thinking.
Honker, Banjo and Kazooie.
Boat from Bloodwake.
I think Banjo and Kazooie are busier.
Boat from Bloodwake.
Yeah. The
Crimson Skies plane.
The boat from Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
All right. Make it. Microsoft, you need first-party games.
A bunch of Fable characters. I don't know.
The dog from Fable 2.
Yeah. Milo.
Yes.
Milo's the end boss.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Steve Ballmer's the end boss.
Adam from Denver. Do you think the next generation of consoles will finally have volume control? It's 2020 and I still have to change my TV's volume every time I switch inputs. It's crazy to me that the consoles, or at least the Switch and PS4, can't speak for Xbox One, still don't have a global volume output setting. And this problem was brought into focus when my TV remote broke the other day and doesn't have a physical button for volume. So now my partner and I get to listen to very loud Animal Crossing until a replacement remote arrives. Yeah.
No, this leads to that bad situation where you're like, how come I can't hear anything? And you're like, which thing is turned down?
Yeah.
Which thing is too low? Is it the console? Is it this? It's like that's already a hassle sometimes on PC where you're like, I got to turn this one up, but this one down. You got multiple sliders that are affecting volume out, depending on the device or the app or whatever. Like no, they're super not going to do that.
I get what he's asking for. Like maybe volume isn't the right setting, but like I always get the audio processing stuff mixed up. But is it normalizing we're talking about here, where you would want everything to be at the same volume or close to the same volume?
Yeah, that's normalization. Yeah.
Like I kind of get what he's saying. Like some consoles and even some games just tend to be way louder than others, so you are constantly just riding the volume up and down all the time.
Yeah, more consistency across games, like a consistent output across games would be nice. I don't think that would solve his problem of like Animal Crossing being super fucking loud, because it sounds like everything would be super loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would not be the worst thing in the world for sure.
Yeah, I really liked that idea of the 360 having all those settings at the system level for like, hey, I don't like vibration, turn it off, or like I always want to be invert, you know, like I kind of wish there was more just console level stuff like that you could set and just have it work for everything. But
yeah, that'd be nice. But games would still, because I bet no one used that.
Maybe not.
So games still had to have like the, hey, do you want to play inverted? Check through that whole generation.
Yeah.
I was just playing that Modern Warfare 2 thing and forgot that like one of the first things you do in that game is shoot a bunch of stuff, and then it pops up a fat message that says, you can go and invert if you want. Like they make it a point to hit you over the head with it.
You can try to do it in world.
No, not at all.
It's just like, hey, put this helmet on and pull up the chin strap up and then down, and then tell me which one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I played over the last break. I played a little bit of that again, and heard Keith David say, "We're Oscar Mike no fewer than 2 times."
Okay. All right.
So that's a good $20, I'd say.
Sure. You got your money's worth already.
Yeah.
Tim from Florida. I've been working from home lately and been using an old monitor I first bought in 2003 for my second screen extended display. What's the oldest piece of tech you're using on a regular basis? I am not going to talk about old monitors here. But I will say that I still am using my Cambridge Soundworks little power cubes from like 1999.
Wow.
Right here, the cord. The cord's not long enough. I was going to hold it up for the camera. But yeah, I'm using the same speakers that I bought around the time of Quake 3.
Good lord. Wow.
So, yeah.
Are they like 3.5s or?
Yeah, well, it's the 2.1. It's the two little desk cubes and the subwoofer.
Oh, okay.
They sound fine, man. They still sound good. Those are good speakers.
Yeah. Huh. I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't know. I've got a clock here that is probably about 15 years old. It's a digital clock. I don't know.
I got a PlayStation 2 over here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I got a painting of the Last Supper in front of me.
Wow.
That's pretty old.
Yeah.
All right.
It happened a while ago.
Oh, that's not just like a photo.
I had this old bookshelf stereo system that I was using for audio for a long time, for like over a decade, and then replaced that by a extra home theater receiver that I was no longer using because it was fucked up in some way, but it would still output okay in stereo. And so I just had that under this desk for like another 7 years or something like that, and then at some point, Creative Labs sent over a sound bar, so now I have that. So I'm trying to. I don't have anything that's that. I mean, other than there's a Sega Saturn here and a PS2 over there, and a Neo Geo Pocket Color and some Neo Geo cartridges. And, some porno DVDs.
Yes. All the essentials.
Yeah.
For the home office.
Right. Yeah.
Brandon from Louisville, Kentucky. Good afternoon, Bombcasters. Quick question. Has Jeff ever thought about collecting bootleg Chinese consoles like the IQ?
The IQ's not a bootleg. It's that's how Nintendo sold games in China for a while.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it was like a separate branding on the console with a separate online shop. I want to say they were selling on like N64 games over the internet or something.
I just had to Google it. Yeah, that's the thing that looks like that weird bootleg looking N64 controller.
Yeah. I think so.
I kind of get what he's talking about. Like, there's a bunch of those out there, though, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you could get into Comboys and all the like South Korean Nintendos and all this other shit. No, it's not. That's not for me. I don't need it, man. If anything, I've got
somewhere.
Yeah, I've got too much hardware here as it is that I'm not using, and no.
Trying to condense more devices into fewer devices these days, not the other way around.
Yeah,
pretty much. Let's see. Here is a question from Matt in the UK. Hummus, thoughts?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
I fucking love hummus.
Yes.
Could not live without hummus.
Easy to make.
I'm indifferent about it. I'll eat some hummus here and there, but I'm not. It's not
Roasted garlic, red pepper,
Yep.
pesto hummus.
Sure.
Oh.
I'll put anything in a hummus. I've had.
What about like a
dessert
pumpkin hummus?
Yeah.
I've had some edamame hummus that was all right.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody considers that blasphemy, but
Y'all wilding out here.
that's right.
Favorite thing to eat hummus with? Obviously, there's the classic pita.
Yeah, I'll probably have to just go with the pita.
It's very good. Pumpernickel pretzels from Trader Joe's.
Okay.
So good. In hummus. Oh my god.
As somebody who comes from a region with like the least healthy diet on the planet, like hummus is basically like dip that's healthy to me. It just feels like you're cheating. So, yeah.
Some warmed up naan, if you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got naan.
I got.
You have some?
I have naan.
Oh, good.
Did you warm it up?
No, I have naan.
God damn it.
Who's on first? Nick from North Carolina. If you could eliminate one game from the past 10 years or so from the universe, including all of its collective influence and descendants, what would it be? What
Minecraft.
could be eliminated to make the global gaming landscape? But geez, man, that's feel like games would cease to exist if you eliminated that.
Think about it. No crafting. No survival.
He says this is like Back to the Future style. So just anything related to this just fades from existence.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I mean, it would be interesting to see what video games would look like if Minecraft didn't happen.
Like, what would Fortnite's whole thing be besides a battle royale if it didn't have like wall building?
It wouldn't even have the battle royale, man.
Yeah, I feel like Minecraft is probably one of the biggest. I feel like Dark Souls is another very big one that would like completely just really radicalize or revolutionize what we have today. Personally, Gears.
Okay.
Just because I feel like it spawned a lot of shooters, a lot of that slower,
totally
kind of more,
like a whole
which I've never
generation
been
of
a fan
shooters
of.
basically modeled themselves after Gears, for sure.
Bummer.
What about Dota?
What about Dota, Jet?
Yeah, there's no League of
about
Legends
it?
then.
Yeah, no League, no Heroes of New Earth.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
What about Magic the Gathering, like the card game?
Oh, jeez.
I feel like you could kill Magic, but another one would have taken its place eventually.
I think that's the thing is like, if you pulled Minecraft out, like someone else would have stolen something from Infiniminer or whatever, and someone would have come to some kind of similar conclusion.
Propped up in its place.
Yeah.
Huh.
Gary's Mod would have just...
The biggest thing in the world.
Yeah. Gary's Mod 2, apparently. Like, he's out there on Twitter.
What?
I mean, he's been working on something for a long time, but then said maybe the engine was shifting.
Huh.
Like there was talk for a while about doing something called Sandbox on Unreal Engine, and now he's out there teasing that maybe he's coming back to Source.
Have they actually used the words Gary's Mod 2?
It's a GIF, but yeah, something like that.
Sure. What do you think is bigger, is Rust or Gary's Mod? And also, am I correct in remembering that it's the same guy? Isn't that right?
Yeah, Rust is
Pretty sure
that.
that's right.
Rust is Face Punch, isn't it?
I think that's right. Did I?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, fuck. Rust is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one talks about Gary's Mod anymore, but like Gary's Mod was
It's got a small hardcore community.
huge. But it was so huge. It was so like even people like you saw the results of Gary's Mod through people posing models and doing all kinds of dumb shit for a while.
Yes.
Like I don't know. Probably Gary's Mod.
Someone in chat says that Rust outsold Gary's Mod in its first month.
Oh,
So-
no shit.
Wow.
All right.
Who can say?
Yeah, Rust is real big.
Yeah.
Rust is like, I feel like that's the thing, man. It used to not be this way, but there are so many cases over the years in relatively modern history of these games that like, they're not sleepers. Like, like it's not like no one's heard of them or anything like that. I don't want to say they're small games, but like these games go on to sell zillions of copies and like no one is talking about them in a mainstream sense. Like a game like Rust is only interacted with in a mainstream sense in terms of like, we've heard this thing's big. What is it? Well, it's too fucking crazy for me to touch or think about ever again. And Gary's Mod was kind of one of those. Like Minecraft is like a different example of that, where it's like Minecraft and Roblox. It's fucking huge, right? But like no one talking about traditional video games is out there going like, man, Roblox, am I right?
Right.
So it's this weird blind spot, I think, for a lot of people that play games. It's fascinating how that happens these days. I don't know. It's weird.
All right. I believe we have come to the final set of emails.
Oh boy.
They're all about Worf. Let's see. First one is from Tom from Queens, entitled About Worf BTW. He looks and behaves like Garrus and Rex did the fusion technique. I can see it.
Yeah.
Like bulky and bellicose like Rex, but also like a steady, rock solid friend, got your back kind of guy.
Sure.
Yeah, I can see it. From Nick in Nashville, Tennessee, regarding Worf. Worf was a horrible father. Otherwise great, but yeesh, not a good dad.
Not a good dad.
Yeah. Klingon parenting, maybe not the most tender thing in the galaxy.
Yeah, it's very human-centric for us to say he's a bad dad. We don't know what...
Yeah, in the quadrant.
It's true. I mean, Alexander is kind of a little shit sometimes, to be fair, but...
That kid sucks. That kid absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
But he also...
Better dad than Goku.
He had it pretty rough, though, so... Who can say? All right. Last one from Jack Thomas, the guy who wrote in last week about Worf. With a follow-up with the subject line, very well. He says, while my opinion on Worf is largely unchanged, you did make me feel guilty for using such harsh words about him. As you have confirmed yourselves to be authority on all things Star Trek, I must ask this of you. Rank the Next Generation crew members.
Oh my god.
I'm reaching a little beyond the core team with this list, but here is who is in the runnings. I don't know if we actually really want to go through this whole process, but I'll throw it out there. Tasha Yar, Beverly Crusher, Deanna Troi, Catherine Pulaski, William Riker, Worf, Wesley Crusher, Geordi LaForge, Data, Miles O'Brien, and Jean-Luc Picard. Perhaps this exercise will reveal the true value of Worf.
I feel like I'm putting Pulaski pretty low on that list.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel
There's
like
a couple I don't even know.
She kind of gets. Pulaski was the one that was. She was the doctor that was like the sub for Crusher while Crusher was having some contractual dispute or something like that. She was out for a season or two. I forget.
I was never a big Tasha Yar fan. Also, like she's all right. It's not.
I feel like she wasn't given enough.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, she was only on the show during that period when the whole thing was kind of bad.
Yeah, fair enough.
It didn't really have time to develop very well before she. At the same time that she made a questionable career move. So.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a top tier of Picard and Data. They're just up there on their own. And then under there, you have most everyone else. I would put like Riker, and then like there's a bottom tier, and that's where you get your Crusher, Wesley. Excuse me.
You don't like Crusher?
Wesley Crusher. I wanna be specific.
Where's the love for Reginald Barclay?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Barclay?
He's Murdoch from the A-Team.
That's the thing. I just found that's the whole reason I brought up Barclay is that I just found out that he's fucking Murdoch from the A-Team recently.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
That's Murdoch from the that. I was watching that. I was like, dude, Murdoch from the A-Team is on this television show right now.
I've never made that connection before. The episode where Barclay gets scanned by some alien probe and gains an IQ of like 2,000 and becomes the computer on the ship is one of my favorite episodes. So.
Yeah. Also, Barclay sucks.
Yeah.
He's a creep. He's a piece of shit.
Also, Dwight Schultz apparently is kind of a lunatic these days.
Howlin' mad Dwight Schultz, as they call him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's into talk radio now.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say like what style is it? Like a talk radio thing? Is it a cryptocurrency thing?
Oh, here it is.
Chemtrails thing.
Schultz hosted a conservative talk radio podcast called Howling Mad Radio.
Oh.
So there you go.
Like the thing he was in.
Yeah. What's Face doing now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not on the Enterprise. I like Miles O'Brien. I'm just gonna give a little shout out to.
He's solid.
Sure.
That dude. Him and Geordi LaForge.
Geordi LaForge.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You can count
Absolute.
You can count on those guys for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. I don't think we need to full on rank that list, but there you go.
Well, where do you put Worf? He's a solid middle. I think.
Tier.
Like maybe a lower middle, but
he belongs in that tier. I mean, he's kind of like I said before. He's kind of got one solution to every problem, which is kill it. But
he's in that like if it was fighting game tiers, he's in that viable but not optimal tier.
Sure.
He's like, I'm glad that he's there, but like also like maybe don't base a ton of episodes around him.
Give him a B plot here and there.
Yeah,
and you're good.
exactly. And the B plot's always like him encountering some cute human thing.
Right. I was gonna say he gets a cat.
I have a cat now.
Just learning to be a real person. All right.
This cat will not yield.
They really don't. No. All right. I'm going to call and end the emails there. Thanks to everybody who wrote in to bombcast@giantbomb.com. I think we've made it to the end of another episode of this strange remote Google Hangout hosted thing that is starting to resemble a podcast.
Yeah.
How's everybody feeling?
How's everybody holding up? Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I managed to not kill both the stream and the recording this week in the middle of shows.
Hey,
Nice.
That's a victory.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about building a little small booth for myself.
Okay,
Because
wow.
I'm in a kitchen right now.
That's dedication.
you sound fine. You're
you know,
good.
All right.
You gonna like hang some drapes or something? Get like a little sound booth going on?
Little sound booths everywhere. Maybe I'll like throw in some lights. And maybe I just won't do any of that.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I've been saying that about my green screen for about the last week and a half, and then the PC broke, and I was like, I gotta set up this green screen. And I was like, oh, how about instead? What if I fucking sat down in a dark room for a while? And thought
better.
about things. Yeah.
Are there webcams out there that do that kind of keying without a green screen, like with using like depth sensing or something like that?
They're not.
Do they not work well?
Jason, do you still have that Razer? Was it the Synapse or something we got in? Did you end
No,
up with that?
man. I don't. I thought you did.
I thought I brought it back in and gave it to you.
No, I
maybe
don't
it's still here
remember.
then. I could not make it work on this computer at all.
Oh,
It
does
just
that just not work well?
It just got to a point where I plugged it in. No, I mean like the camera
camera wouldn't
itself
work?
wouldn't. I got it working once, and then it just decided to stop. Like any port I plug it into, it's just like, nope, nothing here. We don't see anything. I was like, all right, weird. So
All right. Okay, buy a green screen then. That's our advice.
no, I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
All right. Well, everybody
Yeah.
should have one.
I never used it though.
Yeah, I got a background and everything. I just gotta find the time to reorganize this room yet again. Yeah.
That's the life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's gonna do it for this podcast. You guys got a after show coming up. Should people stay on the line?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be smoother than last week's,
Okay.
I
which
think we figured out a solution to get callers too.
Great.
great.
All right. Get your dialing finger ready if you want to call into the aftermath right after this. Ask some questions. Otherwise, thanks everybody for listening. We are going to get out of here, and we will see you next week. Bye.